Your local writers group is crap. Stop burning off your free time in the presence of introverted do-nothings. The Gosslings Writers Group Podcast, a digital gang for writers. Writers who actually write stuff, use typewriters, who write all the people who've offended them into their stories, then murder the shit out of them. Writers who don't believe in dust jackets and name their pit bulls Hemingway. We're writers who lube their typewriters with gun oil, because we're straight shooters. We don't always act pretentious, but when we do, we wear f***ing ascots. Welcome to the Gosslings.
And welcome, everyone. All right.
Welcome to Gosling's Phone Addiction and Big Brother.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nick.
And we are the Gosslings. And this is our weekly live stream that we do at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every Sunday. And it's kind of a writer's hang.
Yep.
Anything that kind of comes across our radar that's interesting or worth talking about. It's a fun time. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We love it every week. And this is one week where we don't have a guest and we can kind of freeform on some.
Yeah.
We can go freeform.
We're going commando, baby.
Deep, and we're going... There's no way to say what I was about to say without just so much innuendo. I didn't know. Trying to keep it kid for the clean for the kiddies.
Yeah,
not happening so far.
No, well,
not happening so far.
Look, Nick's defenses are diminished due to a mild physical impediment that is affecting him. You will notice that there is only one whiskey glass.
There is one whiskey glass. I'm drinking coffee tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you drinking coffee, Nicholas?
Because I can't drink alcohol tonight because I'm having a procedure done tomorrow which requires anesthetic.
Yeah.
And
are you gonna become Nicolette?
Well, I said no, not that kind of procedure. It's
cut it out. No, just kidding.
No, it's an oral surgery. Don't say it. I'm having a tooth extracted, and they said no alcohol the night before, and I'm like, well, can't you just use alcohol for the anesthetic?
Right, like isn't that the same thing as
what
you guys are gonna do?
What I'm gonna get there at 8:00 and just start drinking? How'd that work?
Yeah. I was just gonna show up with like a Camelback and like a little tube and just.
Absolutely. So I can't drink alcohol, but I can drink coffee. So I'm drinking coffee here out of my special mug.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's a cute mug. Did the kids make it for you?
Yeah, last Father's Day, as it says, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm the world's best dad, and dad awesome. Is all caps and huge. And then you can't see it at the bottom inside the cup. When you drink the liquid at the very bottom, there's a heart.
Oh, cute.
And it was made by my daughter, and she knows that I'm left-handed. So you have to be holding it left-handed for the heart to be right side up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was very creative.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a cute.
Yeah, Father's Day. My prize mug now.
That's awesome. So you're having a tooth. Nick's had a rough week, man.
Yeah, it's been rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
It's been a week. Tooth has been bothering you for what, like 4 days now?
Yeah, about a week. Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like I couldn't take the pain anymore. I had to be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I went in, they're like, yeah, that smells nasty and it's infected. I'm like, well, that's the bad breath issue I've been having.
Yeah.
No wonder. My kids are like, how about a hug?
I just thought I wasn't flossing enough, but it turns out, I really wasn't flossing enough. Yeah.
I'm not, I'm pretty good about flossing. Brushing twice a day, sometimes more.
Really?
Do a floss every now and then.
Infected.
And it got infected, yeah. And it's a tooth that they did a root canal on many moons ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago, so.
See?
And I went in and I'm like, okay, this tooth on my right side hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the issue.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, we're going to take a look at everything to see what's going on. So they did the x-rays and they're like, okay, well, yeah, that's in fact, you need to have that pulled out. But we also want to pull this wisdom tooth out. We want to do 2 fillings, and 2 crowns, and we want to get this tooth and all this stuff.
How much is that going to cost?
Yeah. Well, nothing, because I ain't gonna do it. I'm just gonna get my one tooth pulled out because that's probably all I can afford after the insurance.
Yeah, dude.
They're just wanting to plunder the insurance.
Oh yeah. I had
such a racket.
It really is. I had a crown put on last year, and they had to send me up to a periodontist to do it.
Yeah.
And even after insurance, and I had good insurance. I had waste management insurance.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is Cigna. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's the kind of insurance where you show up, you pay a $50 or not even like a $20 or $30 deductible, you know, and then like a month later they mail you a check for $30.
Yeah,
like
that's the insurance where they give you money.
They really do.
Yeah,
like they pay.
That's better than like fireman's insurance.
Right. And so yeah. So like even after that, and I had a bunch of stuff done. I went to the GP a couple times. I had blood work done a couple times. I had an endoscopy done.
Jeez.
You know,
oil
like,
change, the whole
yeah,
works, the rainbow wax.
Yeah.
Everything.
Full tune up, spark plugs, rotors, transmission fluid,
They did a full system flush is what they did.
Full flush, they refilled the grease in my ball joints, it was, but like yeah. Anyways, we'll pump the brakes. But like
talking cars, folks, talking cars. Get your minds out of the mind out of the gutter.
But with that excellent insurance, even after I went to the period, like even after insurance, having that root canal done and the crown put on was like 2 G's.
Oh gosh, I know.
2 G's.
Yeah.
It's like you can't that's if you ever wanted to like figure out how much your body is worth to you, it's moments like that. Like literally that tooth was like worth 2 G's to me.
Wow.
And I had to be awake for like the whole procedure. They wouldn't knock. Now, thankfully, they'll knock you out, which is why you can't drink.
Yeah, they're gonna knock me out, and I think they probably have to.
Yeah,
because it's a root. It was a tooth that had a root canal done on it, so it's filled with all that that hard stuff. They have to get all that stuff out.
Yeah,
and I have super deep roots apparently.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna see if I can.
That must be a Goss thing because they told me the same thing.
We're a little long in the tooth.
A little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Little old long fangs.
Yep.
Long shanks and long fangs. Yeah, man. I mean, that's one of those times where like you think about it and you're like, you know what? If I have to go through this again for $2,000, I'm halfway through my life.
Yeah. Oh, I'm kind of having some of those thoughts.
$600, $200.
Oh yeah.
Yank that sucker
Oh, dude,
out.
yeah. I mean, they're saying like, now, do you want to? What did they say? Like, okay, so when we extract the tooth, do you want to keep any of your teeth? And at first I was like, ew, no, that's
you
gross.
got to.
But now I'm thinking, well, you're gonna charge me $3,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, give me my teeth.
Give me my teeth. Yeah, for sure. And then they're like, now when we extract it, because this is in the very back.
Yeah.
When we extract it, do you want an implant? And I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, do I want a tooth no one can see and I can chew without?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do it. How expensive is the brand new tooth going to be?
Right. Yeah. The replacement tooth, the upgrade.
I'll charge you $2,600.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's got 5G.
It connects. It connects to SpaceX.
Bluetooth.
Right.
Yeah. Connects to SpaceX.
Well, that would suck because now Zuckerberg is going to know everything I eat.
Yeah, he's gonna be that much closer to your brain.
Yep. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
The only conversation you would probably want to have about that, based on my experience with like a pretty good crown job and a not so good crown job, is what is my bite pattern gonna be like? Am I gonna be chomping on my own cheek accidentally if I don't have this thing?
Yeah.
Or am I going to be putting excess pressure on the opposite side because there's nothing here to balance it out?
Yeah.
That's the only, honestly, that's like, if I were in your shoes, those are questions that I would ask being on the back end of some of that stuff that might be worth it. I mean, ultimately.
We're going to find out. I don't think this tooth, I don't think it's going to, I honestly don't think it's going to bother me it being gone. I really don't.
Yeah.
I chew everything on the other side anyway
because
it hurts. And it's bothered me for a while, but it hasn't hurt until recently.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize my breath was so bad. I apologize. We've been sitting next to each other for these live streams for the alcohol helps.
That's all I smell. So I smell bad anyway, so I can't ever, I just assume if I smell something bad, it's just me. But I've been self-conscious this whole time.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's Let's do our toast.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do our toast. So,
all right. If you're joining us watching, grab your libation, and it's a 2-part toast.
Yes.
Do you lead or I lead? I think I lead this time.
Yeah,
you did last time.
So yeah.
I'll lead, and you guys respond. Take up the broken sword of your father
and strike down the darkness.
Cheers.
Cheers. Tastes like healthy teeth. Tastes like
mine tastes like depression because I can't have any alcohol.
It tastes like no dental appointment tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
at least they're knocking you out for it, man.
I know. Well, I'm nervous that I'm going to be one of those loopy, crazy people as they're coming to the ride home videos. You know, you see the ride home videos. The kids are coming out of, the aesthetic, and they're crying. I'm going to be weepy. I know I'm going to cry. I don't know what I'm going to say.
You know what?
I'm
I
going to
still
cry.
want to ride with his wife tomorrow to go.
Oh, she's going to be recording it.
Yeah.
Oh, she is.
I don't have anything going on. I'm off tomorrow, so I might have to. Yeah, oh, it'd be so awesome. I remember 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago. I was 18. I was a freshman in college at Lee. When I was home for spring break, I had my wisdom teeth pulled, all 4 of them. And 2 points of interest about that. One, I was pretty loopy because it knocked me out.
Yeah. So,
like when I had my crowns done, I worked that night or the next day or whatever for each, it was no big deal. But I was loopy for the rest of the day when I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled. And apparently I came home and I sat down in the office where the computer was. And I just sat there with my hand on the mouse just like this for 4 hours. Oh. Just like that. Didn't move. Like just zoned out. The other thing, the second point of interest, I wish I had kept my teeth because all 4 wisdom teeth, I could have made a rad pair of brass knuckles out of those.
It's true.
And you know how awesome it would have been
to
have a pair of brass knuckles made out of your own teeth. I mean, the sad thing is like you knock anybody with them, it's pretty easy to for the cops to track you down.
Yeah, true.
Because it's your dental records.
Yeah, true.
But
you can knock their teeth out with your teeth.
Yeah, you can knock.
That's
exactly.
That's a cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, he gets it.
I get it. Yeah, no, that's cool.
I tried telling some girls about this at Lee, and they didn't really. I didn't talk.
They weren't buying. They weren't into it.
No, they didn't understand. No. See.
No.
Yeah.
I don't need a ton of. Despite what the dentists, all little things they want to do.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, look, I didn't come in here with like a Rolls Royce in my mouth. Okay, I came in here with like a Toyota Corolla that just needs
the 2005 Tacoma.
I got one flat tire. I don't need to buy all new wheels.
Yeah, I don't need a new transmission.
I don't need a new axle.
Yeah, just like replace the tire.
Yeah,
just and maybe like okay, we could talk about a new set of tires.
Yeah,
but
and even if I did want to get everything done, I don't think I can afford it.
No, God, no. I mean, honestly, even with really good insurance, it really does cost an arm and a leg to work on teeth.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
And nothing else seems to be, at least in my experience, nothing else seems to be like that. Because when I had really good insurance through Waste Man, I used it all the time. I had optometrist appointments. I got an upgrade or more like contact lenses. Cost next to nothing. Like $120. Or whatever. When I had an endoscopy done, so I saw an ENT a couple times.
Okay.
I got set up with a sleep apnea thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a bunch of stuff that cost like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Except the dental stuff.
Yeah.
The dental plan, like it's almost like good luck finding a good dental plan. That's why they offer you like those discount, things. Whenever you call the dentist, you're like, I don't have insurance or whatever, and they're like, well, we got this discount coupon plan. Like, good. Yeah. I mean, you could like.
Have you ever noticed that dentists have perfect teeth?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Because they're the only ones smiling. Does
You're
that
not
make
seeing-
sense?
Yeah, you're not seeing anybody.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. We're here almost all night. Folks.
Almost all night.
Yeah. So, yeah, good. Do we have? No, we don't have Adam.
I don't know if we have Adam
We got a
on
couple
yet,
people
but-
watching. I
Yep.
think Will might be watching,
Okay,
and then
cool.
Jim might be watching too.
That'd be
I
good.
got to give a big shout out to Jim, our friend Tiki Jim. I don't think I told you about this. I don't remember if I did. He messaged me earlier this week, or maybe at the end of last week. No, it was earlier this week. Saying that he finally sat down and started reading, or maybe it was last week.
Yeah, you got your book?
Yeah, that he finally started reading
Yeah.
Empyrean Falling,
Yeah.
the first like Heavenly Realms novel.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. I was like, dude, this is awesome. So we've been talking back and forth about it, and
He's been binge reading it, actually. I chatted with him a few days ago. He said he was like 300 pages in or something. Like
Yeah.
halfway through it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he finally,
It's awesome.
finished it, and
That's because it's a good book.
well, I appreciate that. Available on Amazon and Kindle and Audible if you want the audio version, as narrated by Adam Burrell. And John is on. What's up, John?
John.
Love you, bud. Yeah. Farmer John from the gun shop.
Awesome.
Yeah, John
Thanks for
is
watching,
awesome.
man.
Yeah. John is actually a really good character in Sasquatch Lips.
Okay.
So.
Oh, so your friend is someone who a character's patterned on
Yes.
in Sasquatch Lips.
Sasquatch Lips has become a repository for like three things: gun porn, and like all of the arcane Christian esoterica that we're into, like
Oh,
all
yeah.
the conspiracy theory stuff, you know.
Oh yeah,
Which
which we'll talk about.
and then all of my cool friends that I've met working in the gun world, over the years, like all the cool people and some of the not so cool people, but they die pretty quickly.
Who's Sasquatch based on?
Sasquatch is based on like my inner self.
Your id.
Yeah, my id. Yeah, it's just my id.
Nice.
But no, big shout out to Tiki Jim for reading Empyrean Falling. He has left a couple of reviews, one on Amazon and one on Goodreads.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen them yet because they haven't been approved yet. It usually takes a little while for reviews to get approved. And he said he had started on the second book. So
Whoa, it's on the second book?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So I told him, like, dude, if you write me a couple of reviews, I owe you a bottle of whiskey next time you come up.
Yeah.
I told him next time he comes up, we gotta have him on the live stream.
Oh yeah, I know. I want to. But some people aren't comfortable doing that. Other people are.
Yeah,
I would love
yeah.
that. It would be a great conversation.
If Jim was cool with being on, because I get that. I got some friends who are like that. Who are like they're behind the scenes only people.
Yeah,
And
Well, I hope Jim is not. He's got great stories.
Jim has great stories, great life experiences, great charisma, and good stage. Like Jim is like.
Well, he's a salesperson. It's a good
Everybody's-
presentation.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that must be what it is. Well, like because he was a football coach too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And so Jim has like that really calm, collected, commanding authority
Mm-hmm.
presence. He's got really good bearing, and but he has great stories. So he's really engaging. He's really fun. We adore Jim.
Yeah,
Jim's super
awesome.
cool, man. He's definitely somebody you want on your apocalypse squad.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's why I like Jim.
That's why I
'cause,
hate
like,
that he's down in Florida.
Yeah.
Because he's not here.
He's not
Anymore.
wherever he is,
He's in
not
he's
here.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Jim's in Florida, and he's living the high life.
Mm-hmm.
And if stuff gets real,
Yeah.
I'm like, we should just drive down to Florida,
Yeah.
camp out near Jim's
like,
house.
You want to come up
We'll
here?
be,
You
we'll
want
be
me to come
safer
down
there.
Yeah.
It'll be better.
That's what I like about Jim. Jim is like most of my friends, like Jason and John, Delta. Most of these great people who I've met through the gun world, and super cool, professional, courteous, masculine guys. Great to be around, lots of fun, but they all have the demon in them.
The demon.
Yeah, they got the demon in them.
Okay.
Just the absolute, the incorporated Jungian shadow would be the Jordan Peterson way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ability to, not a single one of them are nice guys. The ability to just werewolf out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you need. That's what you need. In your,
That's what you need.
Yeah.
If it gets real, if it gets to that point, That's
Yeah.
what we're gonna need.
Will knows. Will's got that. That's why Will's always loved werewolf movies. So it's been cool talking to Will. Will and I have been talking about like writing and everything, and he's working on like a werewolf script that's like
Oh, cool.
that's like as obsessive as I've been with angels over the years. Like he's been obsessed with werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like whatever he develops is gonna be like probably like the apotheosis of
Yeah.
the werewolf world. So
Yeah.
it's
Interesting.
pretty-
Well, do you think a werewolf is basically just Dogman is a werewolf.
yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it's not. But Dogman is
But
not.
Dogman's always Dogman.
That's the thing. He doesn't go back and forth. He doesn't change his morph between whatever.
Do you think there's a link between those two?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I don't think there are. I don't think they're like werewolves out there. People that change and change back and forth. No, unless some like demonic entity or some fallen angel doing that sort of thing. But I think more likely it's been more like Dogman sightings. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder too if and I don't know, Will. I mean, you're the expert, but like I think about the antediluvian world, the Nephilim world, the human hybrid world, and then that bit about I don't think it's in the canonical Old Testament, but I think it's in either Jasher or Jubilees, where it talks about Nimrod making himself a mighty man. Actually, it may be it.
He becomes a mighty man. Renown.
So like,
he becomes a Nephilim.
Right. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, I wonder if if like Dogmen were like a beta version, and then like you could become something like that, and that's maybe like the origin of being a werewolf.
Yeah, and the translation to Nimrod, it says, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
Yeah.
And he became a mighty man.
Yeah.
But that before could also be translated against.
Against, right.
He was a mighty man against the Lord.
Yeah, it was a confrontational.
A mighty hunter, against the Lord,
Yeah. Was it Genesis 6 that talked about that? The Genesis 6 conspiracy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
The Gary Wayne book?
Gary
That's
Wayne book.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gary Wayne.
I know, man. There are certain authors who it's just like you just are like, I what does this guy say? I got to go right back to source material on this. That's that would make sense. I think there's something that tangential maybe that connects those two together, like deep and
and I sometimes wonder if like Orion, the constellation Orion, has if there's any connection with. Oh, I dropped my dum dum. I wonder if there's any connection between Orion and Nimrod. If Orion was called the hunter, named after maybe the ancient cultures named him after. I don't know if there's a connection there or not.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because
look, there is so much dog hair on this sucker that I just pulled off the floor. That is unbelievable. I'm gonna
awesome.
Get that. Dip it in my coffee and stir it.
Yeah,
man,
clean it off.
My dog is so sheddy.
I know that the Giza necropolis, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of link between Nimrod and Orion, because the Giza necropolis with the 3 pyramids is a model after Orion's belt.
Yeah. Like from a sky view looking down, the pattern, their layout matches perfectly the positioning of the 3 stars of Orion's belt.
And the Sphinx, which is probably, they wager is as old as the main pyramid of Giza, clearly is at least 12,500 years old.
Yeah, I heard it was pre-flood.
Yes, it had to have been, because the water erosion that's on the Sphinx there hasn't been enough water in the Nile Delta to create that for 12,500 years.
Well, there you go.
So I think like it's all kind of science. I tied it all together in Sturm und Drang.
Cool.
I kind of linked, and then I echoed it again in Wayfarers, because Nimrod shows up in Wayfarers a little bit, So it was fun to give those little like nods to like Graham Hancock, and Gary Wayne, and like all these like cool authors that So
very cool.
Let's check the chat.
Very cool. We got going on here on the chat. Will.
Yeah, Will's working on it.
Will's working on it. Some werewolves. Some werewolves don't turn back to human.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting. Will says some werewolves don't turn back to human.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
That's
basically a one and done thing, a one-way street. Like I'm
Yeah.
human, I turn into a werewolf, and I'm stuck there. There ain't
Yeah.
no going back. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a thing. Because if Nimrod became a quote unquote mighty man of renown,
Yeah.
could he unbecome a mighty man of renown?
Yeah. Can you
Would he
undo
be?
that?
Yeah, I don't know. Once you get the Nephilim DNA, how
Yeah.
do you get out of it? How do you
out
get
of
it out?
They also say that that he might have become a mighty man by finding the original doe skins of Adam and Eve. That they had some sort of like. This is more like a Kabbalah thing.
Interesting.
That they had some sort of magical powers. Like magical armor almost.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's more just like that's even more.
I got to read what Gary
Fairy
Lane says
tale-ish
about that,
than-
about how he becomes a mighty man of renown.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Will says that the first werewolf was King Lycan in
That's
Greece, cursed for 7 years at a time.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he cursed to be a werewolf for 7 years, and he's back for 7
guess
years
so,
as
yeah.
human?
Yeah, is it like 7 on, 7 off? Well, that's kind of what
Wonder.
that sounds like. That's awesome. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, Adam's with us.
Adam,
What's up, Adam?
glad that you're here, man. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And Adam and Dee, of course, help us out tremendously. Friends from the UK. Adam narrates all of our
Yeah.
books. He's an exquisite narrator. He just
Yeah.
finished Hoppus Chronicles.
Oh, I
and
saw
it's
that.
live on Audible now. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And Dee makes wonderful resin products.
Yeah.
She can customize resin products for you. You guys got to check them out. There's their Instagram handles there.
Yeah.
And glad you guys are joining, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me get this side here. See, and then we'll see here. Whoa, we got lots of. This is good. This is a good chat. Will says one movie example is Wolf with. Oh yeah, I love that movie. Wolf with
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson. He turned a little each night and then never turned back.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. I was with Michelle Pfeiffer
Mhm.
and James Spader.
Yep, I love the scene with James Spader and Jack Nicholson in the restroom, where they're talking and James Spader's being kind of passive aggressively confrontational
Yeah.
as Jack Nicholson's peeing, and Jack Nicholson
That's right,
turns
yeah.
and just pees all over James Spader's shoes. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just marking my territory." Oh, that's so good. And I was young. I was like early teens and I probably shouldn't have seen it at that age, but I was early teens when I saw it. I thought that's cool.
Well, and now every urinal that Nick goes to now, he's tempted to just, yeah.
I wish I could say it like Jack Nicholson.
If you walk
I'm
up
just
to,
marking my territory.
there are a lot of janitors that, it's pretty good. There are probably a lot of janitors that hate that movie because of all the pee they have to clean up in bathrooms
Worst movie
now.
for janitors.
Yeah, because now, for the past 25 years, ever since that movie's been out, if you're at the urinal as a dude and somebody else comes up to the urinal and stands in the one right next to you, that's like a weird, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And every guy, if you do that, every guy is tempted to pee on your shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oops, whoops.
Yeah, whoops. Oh, I guess maybe you shouldn't have taken the one right.
I
Right
want to
next to me.
pretend like I sneeze, so it just kind of goes off to the side a little bit.
Or just pull a Jack Nicholson and just reach right over and just, yeah, have some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if the guy who comes in, if you're standing on the end, as you should be,
Mhm.
if there's no one there, and somebody comes in and stands right next to you instead of on the other end,
Right.
and they're also talking on their phone, speakerphone,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you start flushing all the toilets.
Yeah, there are only 3 acceptable positions for a urinal. The ends.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do a dominance move, and this is assuming no one else is there's no one else really there. But I always go right for the middle. I go for the middle one because it's you're planting your flag and saying this is all mine. It's a territorial move, But that's assuming, yeah.
Okay.
But that's assuming that there's no one else Like,
I do a dominance
in the
move every
middle.
time I go in the bathroom. I go straight for the handicap stall.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's
Oh,
the prime
yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
I own that.
I'm like stretching in there,
Oh, big
Oh,
time.
I'm just, I'm doing some lunges, I'm doing some burpees,
Oh yeah.
I'm ironing my clothes,
I always take it. Well, I want the room. I want the room.
kick back, take a nap,
Only 2 times have I ever gone into an empty bathroom, totally empty, gone to the handicap stall, took my sweet time, and when I opened it, there's someone in a wheelchair sitting there waiting for me, and there's no one else in any of the other stalls or anywhere. It's just like one dude in a wheelchair looking at me like I'm the scum of the earth, but I'm not.
Nah, I don't care.
I'm like, dude,
yeah. Look,
you got wheels. You should have been.
Yeah, you got
here.
wheels. Yeah, what's yours?
I'm on foot.
Yeah,
and I got here first, so it's mine.
Yeah. It's not my whatever happened is not my fault. Not my problem. I don't care.
No.
Actually, do kind of. I do believe that. I'm just not like I don't. I'm not a very sympathetic person.
No, how often do you actually see someone using one of those handicap stalls that has actual need for it?
Right. Yeah.
I never see.
Yeah. The morbidly obese in the scooter does not count.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
The what do they call those? It's not the hover round. It's something like that. The Walmart.
Yeah, the Walmart scooter.
Scooters. Yeah. The overflow scooter.
Man, that's just when you've given up.
Yeah.
That's just how you just shuttle it from one location to another.
You're just a mobile digestive tract at that point.
I'm surprised that like Planet Fitness doesn't have those scooters.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I went on one date with a girl one time. This is probably like 3-4 years ago. It was before Mom died. It's about 4 years ago, and I picked her up from the gym, but she didn't tell me until like I was leaving that she was at Planet Fitness. And which made sense because she was a little Latina, and we went out to get sushi afterwards. And she didn't know how to use chopsticks, which is fine. A lot of people don't know how to use chopsticks. But she didn't want to wait on silverware either. So when the sushi came, she just ate it like finger food. Even the waiter looked at me like, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I got the look from, So, Planet Fitness, man. Any place that has a lunk alarm, it's like, whatever. Those people are the first to die.
Nobody gets fit at Planet Fitness.
No, because they donuts and candy.
Yeah, the whole company is geared towards
feel good.
Yeah, feeling good and
Social
justifying
justice.
your bad decisions.
Yeah.
But you're in a gym because that makes you feel good too.
If you're evil, it's a beautiful business model.
Yeah.
It's super smart because it's so insidious. It's like, it's come to our gym, but on Fridays we have
basically like
donuts.
every evangelical church in existence.
Yeah, it really
is
is.
a Planet Fitness church.
It's like
Yeah,
it really is kind of like the Jesus is coming back next week, so be sure to donate kind of thing. We just need I can't tell you how many sermons I have sat in, whether it was at Thompson Station Church or
ooh, he's dropping names.
or at Grace Point where the
Frickin'
pastor where the pastor is like berating us because we're not giving enough money, so that they can build an extra wing on the church, or that they can build. And meanwhile, what kind of shoes is the pastor wearing?
Oh yeah.
What kind of car is the pastor driving?
Yeah.
How much did the pastor pay for that hair?
Yeah. Well, the worship leader could sell
Where does the
his-
pastor's kids go to school, and what neighborhood do they live in?
Yeah. Very telling.
Yeah.
Very telling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
Yeah, we're a little bitter when it comes to how church is being done in America.
Yeah, and it's
Generally,
really only my law-abiding laziness that protects those people.
Well, I don't think they're going to be the problem when everything kicks off.
No,
They're going to have problems of their own.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. You would be the first.
They won't be churchgoers. They're gonna be like, no, I changed I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. All this
Christianity, nah, it was fun. But
wow.
thanks for the free
I
concert.
can't make that grift work anymore. Yeah, thanks for the free concert, man.
Yeah.
You know,
by failed musicians
Toby
every
Keith
week.
goes to our church.
Yeah.
But his daughter is playing because he,
Yeah.
whatever.
I know.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny thing. Speaking of local stuff that'll get me in trouble. I was someone had posted something earlier today on on one of the Facebook pages about Tennessee. If you're not from here and you come here, you have to assimilate. It's a more articulate and artful meme than that, but that's basically the gist.
Right.
Which is true. If you're not from here and you come here, you will adjust, or we will make you go back.
How do we do that?
Any means necessary. Violence. That's the way you do it. You do it with extreme violence. That's how you do it.
When's that happened? No,
Yeah.
that's never happened. No one's ever done that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're still coming. I don't see anyone going away. It's just getting more and more full.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No. That's how you solve that problem, because you can't convince these people otherwise.
Well, you can't keep them from coming. And I sure as heck wish. Well,
yeah, you can.
Nothing's worked so far.
Well,
you got to concede that. I mean, they're going to keep coming.
They're always going to come to a certain point. It'll have to get really bad for, Texas has kind of started to get the right idea. But by the time they woke up, it was too late. I'm hoping Tennessee can learn from their mistake and course correct that. But I had made the comment
we won't. We don't have any natural borders except the Mississippi.
Yeah.
We can't throw up a wall. Can we throw up a wall?
I mean,
and if so, which side of the state do we put it on?
Well, you put it on the north side,
okay,
and you put it on the west side, and you make it out of the dead bodies.
Yeah.
And you just go Spartan on them. But yeah, someone I made the mention of the fact of the matter is, if you're not from here at this stage in the game, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, there aren't a lot of people who are here that are from here.
Yeah. But but after the past few years, especially, we really don't want you here.
Yeah, we really don't. We really don't. That is true.
We're full. It's over. We're closed.
Yeah.
We don't want you here. You're not welcome here. We are hostile to you. And that's the end of it. And and it was really funny because there were two people who were mad at me for saying that.
Yeah.
Neither of which were from here.
Yeah. They weren't customers, were they?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Were.
That's great.
Yeah. But the irony of it, and the reason why I mention it, is the one was a dude from California or New York, the two biggest culprits of human cancer, carpetbaggers.
You can't blame them for leaving, but you can blame them for coming here.
Right. Yeah. Well, I blame you for leaving because it's man, why don't you stand for something and stand and die for what you believe in?
Well, that's a good point. And why don't you stay in the bed you messed up?
Right. Yeah.
Why don't you make your own bed before you leave the room?
Well, because I told these people my family's been here for on my mom's side 150 years, well over 100 years. My family has been here on my mom's side, and dad's side, our family has been in the South alone for longer than the country has existed.
Yeah. 400 years.
Yeah. So we are real Southerners. And and one dude, it was just so funny because the gist of what I was trying to say is, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. You don't think like us. You are not us.
Yeah.
You might say you're a social liberal, but a fiscal conservative, or you're this or you're that. And it's you're not.
Yep.
And we don't want you,
we don't want you.
And one person, but the irony of it is, the two people who got mad at me, one person got mad at me, and she was a black chick, and she called me racist. And then the other one was a dude who tried.
Because
I genuinely have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, it was adorable. And the other one was a dude who came out and said he trotted out the critical race theory line of well, I'm sure the Native Americans that your family murdered, would have have something to say about that. It's like, see, all I could say to him was like, both of you, thanks for proving my point.
Yeah.
Like, you've just proven my point.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah.
You've just called me a racist for no reason. So you've just violated one of the conservative tenets, which is to like not just name call because you're got your feelers hurt.
Yep.
And the other is you've employed critical race theory, which conservatives hate. So you have now proven my point by proving that no matter what you think you are, what you call yourself, you're not a Southerner, you're not a Tennessean. We don't want you to go away.
Yeah. And it's probably only going to get more divided.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I come not to bring peace, but the sword.
I come wielding a sword.
Yeah, I come
bearing a sword.
I come to divide.
You sold your cloak. You sold your cloak.
Yeah, I got swords.
And you bought it. So you got lots of swords.
I got lots
I've
of
seen your swords.
Yeah, I got lots of swords. Big swords, little swords, sharp swords, dull swords.
Nah.
I just hang them all off the taco. Be a sword taco. Yeah. They shoot daggers, dagger shooting swords. Anyways, that happened today. I had to mention that. That was really funny. So,
if you're still with us, you got to subscribe to the Gosslings YouTube channel. We're also subscribe YouTube, the Gosslings. Yeah. Rumble, the Gosslings.
Yeah, we are on Rumble now.
We are on Rumble now.
Nick got us set up on Rumble.
We are set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find us on Facebook too.
Yeah.
At
somewhere.
This.
There it is. Yeah.
The Gosslings.
Yeah.
Oh, shocker. We got it's not like we bought a domain or anything, but we were lucky enough to get that on our YouTube, our Rumble, and our Facebook. And if you go to Anchor, you can check out this is also
you got Anchor up and running?
Yeah, Anchor's up and running. I got a couple episodes on there.
Nick is like, I'll just go
the Gosslings on Anchor.
Nick is the
and Spotify
heart and soul and the brain and the machine of this operation, and I'm just like the spoiled high maintenance talent who shows up. I'm like the Nick Nolte who shows up like drunk,
Nick Nolte.
And like, I know, like, I'm like Gary Busey. Like, listen, I mean, here's the thing, like when Gary Busey shows up on set or somebody, they're like, I know it's Alec Baldwin. Like he says a bunch of bad words, and he might like.
No, dude, I'm the James Spader from Stargate, and you're the Kurt Russell that shows up, kills all the bad guys.
Who's ready to nuke everything?
Yeah, you're ready to nuke it all.
I'm ready to just
for sure.
It's like, listen, he's high maintenance, and like he might pinch an intern on the booty. And he might say some bad words, but I mean, he gets asses in the seats.
Well, listen, Kurt Russell. If you smell something funny in here, it was my dog who just farted just now, and it's awful.
So I just figured it was me.
No, if I had bourbon, I wouldn't be able to detect it. But nope, that was Shelby. Maybe got a little gas down there.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's allowed.
She's a celebrity now.
She is.
Yeah,
she is. Yeah.
I haven't watched that video yet, but I really want to.
Made a video of Shelby trying to catch. She's 10 years old. She's a lab, and for some reason, she doesn't have that gene.
Yeah.
And so we made a funny video about that yesterday. It was fun.
Lily doesn't either. She's awful at catch because she's so spoiled. Like she'll go get the ball, maybe. There's like a 50-50 shot that she'll get the ball. Or maybe 60-40. And then she'll bring it back. And then most of the time she'll bring it halfway back, sit down or lay down, drop the ball, and stare at you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, come to me. Like she just
wants so much personality and expression that it's almost like there's a cat intelligence level.
Yeah, there really is. It's really funny. And with Lily especially, she looks like so many other animals throughout her day-to-day life, Lily's like a 65-pound pit mix, and she's like mine and Cameron's dog, and we love her. She looks like a little monkey when she poops. It's really funky. It's really funny. She looks like a monkey on a tree, because she's all black and she's got like a little monkey face. Her little monkey tail sticks out.
Crouches.
Yeah, so she's like crouched over. It's
and her tail's like straight. Out the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really funny. She looks like a little squatting monkey. So, anyways,
well, dude, should we go on to our topic?
Yeah, let's talk about the topic.
Today's episode has very little to do with writing.
yeah.
We've talked about dentists and we've talked some politics.
Carpetbaggers.
Being in the South, being a
Mhm.
Southerner. And the main topic today is the smartphone pandemic.
Smartphone pandemic.
Smartphone addiction and Big Brother.
Yeah. Where to start?
Oh gosh. Well, let's start last week. Let's start with. See, I don't even know where to start. Let's show them what we have.
Yeah.
This is what we have.
Nick and I are
flip phones.
Hashtag flip phone gang.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we made this decision about over a year ago.
You made it long before I did.
Did I? Did I do it first?
Well, weirdly enough, I held out, I think maybe longer than you did.
Mhm.
I didn't get my first smartphone until 2013 or 2014, maybe. And then I had it for several years. And then I think somewhere along there, you went back to flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
It was 20. It was my minimum. It was 2018.
2018?
2019, maybe. Maybe it's 2 years ago. Maybe it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, I held out the longest because, I like consistency, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But then Nick saw the light before I did and went back a year before I did. And then I went to a flip phone early last year.
Yeah.
I think sometime spring or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
now the question is, why did we do that?
Right. Yeah. Why not?
Let me count the ways.
Yeah.
One big reason was
on the first day of flip phones, my true Lord gave to me.
Yes.
No more neck pain.
Yeah. No. Well, let's start with some of the more lighthearted reasons.
Yeah.
But still wonderful.
Yeah.
You can do this when you hang up on someone.
Oh, it's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
You hear that sound?
Yep.
You don't get that.
No, I said tomorrow.
Do it.
And then you can do that, and it's great.
Those of you who are old enough to remember handsets and receivers and slamming the phone down and how good that felt. That.
Just the cathartic, gratifying.
That's the word I was looking for. Cathartic. This brings it back.
Yeah.
Big time.
It does. It has echoes of Well, and the other great thing about that is you didn't scramble back then to find your phone because your phone was mounted on the wall or it was sitting on an end table. You knew where it was all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? No ads on this thing.
No ads.
Ad free. I'm running ad free
because no apps.
No apps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There are no
Absolutely.
apps. There are no games. There's, rudimentary texting. You gotta use the T9 system.
Yep.
Which, here's the thing, though. I'm faster doing this because this is what I grew up on. You and I grew up with, we grew up with, the first cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is actually what we're used to more than the thumb workout that is a smartphone.
Yep. And I have gotten, this is like alphanumeric texting.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the butt to text someone.
It can be.
It's easier just to call people usually.
Yeah.
And God forbid.
You have to spell right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the word. Yeah. For let's see. Anything
light,
IGH.
Yeah.
Anything IGH.
Yeah.
Is going to be a real pain.
But
I would rather talk to people anyway.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have, and you know this about me, and I'm the same way with you. When we send each other messages, that does not, I'm not like, I'm going to send him a message right now. He's got to get back to me now.
Right.
Yeah. The message comes to the person you send it to, and they get back to you when they get back to you.
Yeah.
There is this, the smartphone has created this expectation that everyone is instantly accessible all the time.
Yeah.
There's a demand for you and your time to be instantly accessible to me whenever I want it. That's your time.
You're always tethered.
All the time. Notifications all the time.
Always in.
Yeah. And you know what? I even covered up the little light on my phone with a sticker that shows me if I have like
genius.
a text.
I should do that. That's a good idea.
And when you put it on silent or put it on vibrate, and when you get a
Yeah.
text, you might not know it.
Yeah.
You might check like, oh, I have a text, and respond to it whenever you respond to it.
I'll tell
If
you,
I
man.
need you right now, I'm gonna
Yeah.
call you.
Yeah.
If it's
I'll
really,
call you.
yeah.
Well, and I've started to go back to just calling people, you know, for even like non-emergency, non-serious things.
Just
like,
to say I love you.
it's just to say I love you. Yeah, it's like I've started to use calling people and speaking to them on the phone as my first line of defense, as my
Mhm.
first alternative, you know.
Mhm.
Like, because there is, well, first of all, the tethering thing.
Mhm.
I remember, like, one of the reasons why I got rid of my iPhone as my carrier, my smartphone, was just because it started to like make my chest tight.
Yeah,
all the time.
anxiety.
Yeah, because it didn't matter. Like, you know, your notifications would come in, and it's like, well, you can answer them later if you want, but everything's just going to be waiting on you. And who knows what Pandora's box that is
Oh, yeah,
that's
for
waiting
sure.
on you.
Yeah.
Or you can answer it now. But guess what? Now is just like crossing the event horizon into the black hole that is the time sink of
Yeah.
whatever this conversation is going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
You answer it now, well, the conversation is just going to keep going because
Yeah,
it's so easy for two people to just, you know,
Yeah.
kill their posture and kill their necks by just.
Yep.
Dude, I had a chiropractor friend who told me like there is a pandemic of like crook necks.
Yeah.
In kids
Mhm.
nowadays.
Yeah,
because
smartphone
of-
neck, bending
Smartphone
forward.
neck. Yeah,
Like their spine actually curves at the top because their heads are always bent
Yeah.
down. It's a real thing.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look it up. So it just this. I'll tell you, man. Like honestly, the healthiest I was. This is why, like, you know, I admire Nick so much for this. Is how
Thank you.
regimented his life is. Because the healthiest I was, and probably the happiest I was when my life was extremely compartmentalized.
Mm.
I would go to work in my security job at night. I would sit there and I would write.
Mhm.
I was talking to Will. Will and I were talking about this earlier because like Will's very regimented about like how he writes. He writes every night, you know, or every day, Monday through Friday, and he takes the weekends off. I was like, man, you know what? I used to do that too. I used to write at my security job, you know, walk around on
Yeah.
patrol every hour,
Yeah.
which is
Be
very
around.
good for your creativity, helps you review and edit, and it gets you out of your rut if you're in one.
Mhm.
Take a 30,000 foot view of your. But anyways, when I would come home that morning, this is back in the MySpace days. When I would come home that morning, I would log onto the computer.
Mhm.
I would turn the computer on. I would check my emails. I would check my MySpace.
Mhm.
And then I would look at like whatever I wanted to look at on eBay or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'd go to bed.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's the only time of day I would check any of that.
Yeah.
And I don't check any of it until 24 hours later when I come home from work.
That's awesome, man. That's
It-
awesome. Yeah, because
having-
right now with smartphone right now, everyone is constantly checking their Facebook,
Yeah.
their either Instagram, their social media, their email,
Yeah.
their work email,
Yep.
their text messages, all their notifications.
Yeah.
It's just constantly, all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. And that means that the phone is in front of them in their hand and they're giving that attention all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a real drain.
It is. It's exhausting because every time that thing chirps or beeps or squawks at you,
Yeah.
it's just one more vortex.
Yeah. Every time you
Sucking
get a little
you in.
notification on your phone, even before you open it, you might have like a banner notification or
Yeah.
something. And from you don't know it when you see the banner notification, you have a text. That could be an emergency, like a family member is in the
Mhm.
hospital.
Right.
It could be anything between that and a funny cat video.
Right. It runs the full gamut.
And you don't know. So
Yeah.
no matter what, if you
Yeah.
see it, you're going to check it right then.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's a funny cat video. And guess what? You're not going to put that phone down. You're going to watch the funny cat video.
Right. Now you want to watch it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it trains you. It creates this Pavlovian response, you know, like Will makes a good point. When he goes to write, he says, when I go to write, I leave my phone in the other room.
It's
And
smart.
yeah, it is. It is really a smart thing to do. And like some people don't need this in their lives. Like some people have it's rare, but some people have like the the fortitude and the discipline to be like, no, I can have all this and I can still regulate myself.
Yeah.
But most people, a lot of us who are, not on the arc of the bell curve, more on the flats, we need to, it's like some people can have the alcoholic gene or whatever, and not drink and be, or like have a beer and be okay. But that's rare. Like most people are like, no, I like can't drink a whole lot or it's a problem. And it is, it's like nicotine or cocaine or it's an addictive substance. Those little black mirrors, those little pools of Narcissus are meant to be addictive. They're engineered to be addictive.
Oh yeah, they are.
And that's one thing that like I try to tell people to like get them to not, because people will give up and just accept it, but they'll feel guilty about it in a conversation. It's like, no, listen, I mean, I'm all for personal responsibility. Like, yes, you should own your own problems in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
But the reality of this particular situation is everything's working against you. Society's working against you. Media's working against you. Advertising's working against you. Companies are working against you. This little black mirror that you are toting around with you, that's tracking everything you do, that's trying to monetize everything you do, that's listening to you all the time, that is betraying you to a deep state government that has taken over the government.
Absolutely.
It is a complete violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
And it restricts your First Amendment, and it's going after your whatever. Like, it's just a constitutional, bonfire. This thing is engineered to suck you in.
Yeah.
And everything around it, everything in orbit, in satellite around your life is trying to like suck you in. I mean, you try to go, how many promo things do they give you at every retail establishment for using a QR code on your phone? I mean,
you gotta use the QR.
Yeah, you gotta
use the QR code.
Yeah, you gotta use a QR code, or like you gotta take the survey to get the thing, or like even the taco. Like, I love having the Tacoma, man. It's awesome. It's like driving the Warthog from Halo.
Yeah,
it's great, But like, it really tempts you to like go back to a smartphone. Yeah, because then you can listen to your music. Yeah, and then you can like do this with your navigation.
Yeah, that is the problem.
It's just this insidious little grime of worm tongue. Just
I know, and I have my old device, my old smartphone device, because I use this.
Me too.
This is call and text. That's all I do. But I have my old smartphone, and I'll confess, I do listen to podcasts on it.
Oh, sure.
In my car.
Yeah. I download videos, and
so I'm often I'm traveling like two devices,
right?
And I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. I've been having a lot of fun listening to like.
I'm still being tracked.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, you just get to a point where you're like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I've been having a lot of fun these past 2 weeks listening to all my favorite, old music, that I don't have, because I can just download the video from YouTube and then, sync it through the device, sync it through the car or through the truck, and then play it. But there is a certain point where you really do have to ask yourself, like, is this worth my soul? Yeah. Because like this is muddying the waters, and the iPhone is just meant to just blur the lines and muddy the waters.
Yeah. When was the last time, and I'm not asking you this. I'm asking just in general, everybody. When was the last time you got in your car and drove somewhere and didn't listen to anything?
Oh, yeah.
Total silence.
Yeah. Yeah, just nothing, I had to be put in that position because the Jeep Bellator, his radio didn't work. Yeah. The CD player didn't work.
Oh, Bellator.
So like, it was just silence, man, for like the better part of 2 years now. But you know what? I find myself even in the taco, like, just there are plenty of times where I'm like, there's nothing on the radio. I'm not gonna listen to on the radio, or I don't want to go to the trouble of syncing up my phone with Intune, the Intune app for the Tacoma, or to Toyota's thing. So like, yeah, man, just pure silence, What does Adam say?
Adam says, let's see here. Adam says, this morning, to be honest, and need a
complete cutoff and relax while driving to work. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, man.
Silence will do it.
It is. And you need that, like, it's almost like detoxing, Like, I remember there was this video a long time ago. I don't remember. It was probably from that Russell Crowe movie, that really good, The Insider. with Al Pacino, where he plays like the tobacco company insider guy who's trying to get the story out. It's a really good, like, I think maybe, Will, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I can't remember if it's pre or post Gladiator. I think it might have been right after Gladiator, right? Because he was kind of a fatty in that movie. But they're
Pacino or Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell, yeah.
He's great. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how
He's like Mel
skinny or fat
Gibson.
he
It's
is.
like, who cares? He's always going to be
Kurt
super
Russell's
cool.
always cool.
Kurt Russell or Mel Gibson. I was thinking of Mel Gibson.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, all three of them. It's like, it doesn't matter how, like, you know, what they balloon up to. They're always going to be
Yeah, they're always going to be
awesome.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, men in tights. But no, there's that moment in that movie where they're showing like a bunch of stock footage of like labs and everything, and because it's all about the tobacco industry,
Mhm.
you know, and they show this rat. I think it's from the inside. They show this rat like going up to a feeding bottle in a cage and just constantly, like, you know, lapping up the nicotine drip that's being. That's what your phone is.
Yeah.
Your phone is just like this constant nicotine drip. You know, this constant addictive substance drip that like it's never going away. It's never going to stop. It's Skynet. It's the T-1000.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's the T-800. You know.
Yeah, and what's
It doesn't
horrifying
sleep.
about this?
It doesn't eat.
No, there is, and you know, we have 5G's rolled out.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a super powerful network. We all know that. I'm not saying anything conspiratorial about 5G, but Elon Musk has been very clear that he envisions one thing that drives him. He's looking to innovate a way for us to be connected to the internet biologically, you know, like the internet connected to our brain somehow.
Yeah.
Because what we have isn't enough. That's the thing
Yeah.
that I cannot stand. It's got our hooks. Smartphone technology has its grimy little hooks
Yes.
so deep into every aspect of our lives, and it's not enough.
It's right. It's not enough.
It's not enough to control us to the level they want to be controlled in the name of
Yeah.
innovation and advancement
And
of
to
technology. I do
manipulate.
not want to be connected to the
Yeah.
internet.
I am not a number. I am a free man. Yeah. It's like The Prisoner. The
Yeah.
old BBC show.
At what
Adam,
point?
you probably remember The Prisoner. You've probably seen that. Prisoner's really good. At what point?
At what point do you say this is enough? This is all the connectivity I need.
Yeah.
How much of you belongs to everyone else without
Right.
your will, apart from what you
Yeah,
allow?
and how much of it belongs to like friggin' Charmin toilet paper and Honey Bunches of Oats?
Yeah, thank you.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, how much of it belongs to Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer?
Dude, that's
You know?
man. I can't take it.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
Well, and you know, the only thing more obnoxious than just your standard ads are your politicized ads for like, you know, get the jab or else kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, constantly, and on
Yeah.
the radio too, because I do listen to
Yeah.
talk radio. I listen to conservative talk radio. Big shocker.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I listen to it because I already know what I believe,
right.
and I'm going to hear a lot more that aligns with what I believe
Yeah.
with conservative talk radio than I would listen to other, media outlets. But
Listening to
I also
NPR.
kind of want to know so people on the right, what is the message that the powers that be on the right want their constituents?
Mhm.
This is, what is our narrative? What is our narrative? So I'm always
Oh,
listening
yeah.
to that, and I'm like, a lot of that I get, but I don't fall on with, especially along the lines of getting the jab.
Yeah.
The right is all about it.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're all about it. Like the politicians are all about it. The election wasn't stolen. Vaccines work. Playing nice. Just playing to the people. And then there's like people who are conservative that are like, I'm not sure I want to go along with all that. I still want to have my own opinions about all this stuff. But I listen. So anyway, all that to say, I listen to conservative talk radio. And if you take any given hour, half of that hour is ads.
Oh yeah.
Commercials.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful. And there's like one station in particular. It doesn't matter what time I get in the car. When I turn the car on, it's a commercial.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
And I've started, heaven forgive me, I've been like shouting at my radio, shut up, and I hit turn it on. Like every time I get in the car and turn it on, it's like,
Have you ever punched a radio before?
no, just with my thumb.
Oh, okay. I've done it once. I did it to Port Bellator.
Did you?
Yeah, and
Well, no wonder the radio doesn't work.
I'll be honest with you. Well, I replaced
Did it
it like
liberate
2 or
you?
3 times. It felt great. There's nothing better. It's like something out of a cartoon when you punch that thing and you just destroy it and the screen just cracks.
Yeah.
And it just and it stops. You killed something.
Yeah, take that, Skynet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you feel really good. See, Adam and Will both get it, man. They drive in silence.
Yeah, Will says he drives in silence all the time.
Yeah,
I love that.
See, I bet you Jim and John are probably both watching this too, being like, yeah, you're kidding me, because you do you need that. Men, part of stoicism is that self-reflection and that self-processing in private.
Mm-hmm.
And your car is such an instrument of privacy. That's why,
in Tennessee, it's no different than your home.
Right? Yeah, legally. Yeah,
that's
right. Castle doctrine. Yeah, extends to the vehicle in Tennessee. Well, and that's the thing that that liberals and that non-patriotic people who want to change the mental and behavioral landscape of this country don't understand is that your car is like a mini castle. It's a fortress on wheels for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very masculine thing. And America's one of the, if you go over to Europe, you see all the cars over in Europe, they're all little tiny econo cars, and they're well made, but they're not here where it's big land yacht boats, and that's, and it's kind of that mentality and that process, that that libertarian kind of ideology, but for men, that is a big thing, of and I'm sure it's the same for other things. We got a cousin who mountain bikes, Nathan.
Yeah.
I won't make fun of Nathan.
Don't make fun of Nathan.
I love you, Nathan.
He doesn't drive a Subaru, does he?
No, but I'll tell you something really funny, by the way,
good.
dovetailing on cars.
Okay.
Did I tell you about the Subaru Brat?
No.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I discovered a vehicle that I had no idea existed. And it was there's one that was made the year I was born down in Opp, Alabama for $600. That's right on the Florida line.
Okay.
They usually go for a few $1,000s, but it's called a Subaru Brat.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's the predecessor to the Baja.
Okay.
It's like a miniature El Camino.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Car in the front, little truck bed in the back. But here's what makes it cool, and this is totally gonna jazz Nick out. He's gonna love this. If you're watching this, just Google Subaru Brat. In the back, there are rear-facing jump seats.
Oh, that's cool.
With handlebars.
Oh, that's cool.
So, you remember when we were little
kids? Which is totally illegal to ride in now.
Yeah. Well, I think they have lap belts, Yeah. But it just looks like. It kind of
looks like a carnival ride, basically.
Yeah, you remember? I don't even remember where it was. I was trying to explain it to Cameron last night, but there was a place that Nick and I went when we were really little, and it blew my mind because one of the rides there, a little expensive. It was this is the late '80s, maybe early '90s. $20. I think it cost $20 to do it, but it was an enclosed, almost like a basketball court or ice rink or something. It was an enclosed space with cage wiring all the way around, chain link fence. It was chain link fence all the way around. And there were these motorized miniature kiddie tanks. And one person sat in the front and drove, and the other person sat in the back with a tennis ball launcher.
Oh, dude.
I remember this extremely
It had
vividly.
To have been in Pigeon Forge or something.
Yeah, it seemed like it was, but it was someplace
that sounds awesome. It's
it was ultra so
go-karts meets bumper cars meets
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
and
cool.
One person drove and I was trying to explain it to Cameron.
Was I driving?
Yeah, I think we did it twice. I think we both we swapped off. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know why I don't remember that. That sounds awesome.
Oh, man, I know. I gotta Will, if you know what I'm talking about, man, because you've been to a lot of the same places that we've been to. You gotta let us know.
Now, as an adult, having discovered who General Patton was, I so want to go do this thing and just destroy all the children. Just
like Jason Bateman in that Spelling Bee movie where he just well, that's kind of what the Subaru Brat reminded me of.
I'm gonna get in that little thing. A bunch of third graders out there. I'm gonna go through them like crap through a goose. I'm gonna kill them all the time.
I'm gonna grind through their entrails, make them eat their own guts. You know? Yeah. That's kind of what the Subaru Brat reminded me of. It's like, man, you could hook up a couple of bipods to that thing.
Oh man,
Just have one person on each side with like a 30 cal. You know
what we should do? We should get a Subaru Brat
like a Terminator 2
with
car.
one of those like tube launchers, like tennis ball launcher or whatever,
Yeah.
and just go and fire Goslings t-shirts into the neighborhood.
See, it's a tax write-off.
Sunday at 4:30.
Sunday at 4:30.
Little kid riding on his training wheel, wham, right in the side of the face with a Goslings t-shirt.
You know what?
That says it's hammer time.
Totally down. I'm totally down. We're gonna do it. Yeah,
man.
$600 off Alabama. I think if we spend like $1,000 total out the door, you can get replacement jump seats for that thing.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing. It needed the fuel pump hooked back up, and it didn't have any jump seats. And I mean, there's one in Chattanooga that you get that like is like $4,000 or something. But like that's a lot for.
Yeah.
But for like under $1,000, it's a manual 4-speed. And it's got like
4-speed.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
one of those is reverse.
yeah, dude. If you Google Subaru Brat, it like really looks like one step up from a go-kart, and like
That sounds awesome.
and like maybe like a fancy dune buggy.
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
Maybe
Oh, that's
it
great.
doesn't even like
That's great.
razor level of
So, those old Volkswagen buses.
Yes,
But not the ones that look like a perfect Twinkie.
yeah,
Like the
Twinkie.
but the ones that are a little more, not quite as cool looking, but it's still a Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
I have dreams about those.
Do you really?
I have a recurring dream that I find one in a junkyard for $400.
Yeah,
and I bring it home and restore it, and I drive it around.
I think that's the Muse trying to tell you something.
I think so.
Yeah, I think this needs to be in your. Have you been on Marketplace? Have you
looked? No, I would.
It's too dangerous. You might find one.
I know. I don't want to look.
I might sell a gun and then surprise Nick with one day. I know.
That would be
Merry Christmas, Nick.
So long as it runs, that's my fear. It's like, because in my dream, I think it has to do with anxiety around. We've always had used cars. We always have a car breaking down.
Oh, sure.
All this stuff. And because I'm always like looking for like cheap cars to just buy, and then you have to keep them, running and all that. But for some reason, it's the same vehicle, and I'm just in love with it in my dream. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Putt around in that little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing wrong with
like
that.
Lone Star and.
That's the
and
Winnebago.
barf.
The Winnebago with wings.
Yeah, like a miniature Winnebago with no wings.
Yeah.
And drive around. I
Put
just
little
think
wings
cool.
on it.
I might. That'd be kind of cool.
Little fat piggy wings on
What
the side.
did they call it? What did they call it? What was the name of their
Eagle
ship?
5 coming in.
Is he Eagle 5? Oh man, Spaceballs. I gotta watch.
Or
that
Eagle
again.
1 or something like that. I don't remember what it is. I thought it was whatever. Yeah. Let's see. Adam says that 30 minutes to and from work each day is my quiet time and my complete space to reflect. Yeah. Right. So it's like part of the masculine stoicism thing of like just being able to.
And some of that too, being going home and knowing there are gonna be a bunch of people that need you for something right when you walk in the door.
Right.
After. Giving 8, 9, 10 hours of your life to everyone else who needs something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That little sliver of time in between those two events is a
psychological
moment.
nap.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's a moment to decompress.
Yeah.
And my problem is that I'll fill it with a bunch of angry conservative talk radio, or it might be total silence, but I'm still in the middle of angry, congested road rage traffic.
Oh,
not for me. I'm just trying to stay
it's
alive.
continuing to fill up your tank, and you're trying to dump the tank.
Yeah.
That's I know what that's like. Yeah. I've found that like drive time for me is a lot like the shower is for a lot of people. It's where you have all of your imaginary shouting matches. And
you come up with the perfect response to
something that happened a week ago.
Yeah.
And
you're like, oh, I wish I had said that. You still have all those even
writer.
imaginary confrontations.
Yeah. Well, I get it all out in those drives before I get to the place.
Yeah. That's
so
good.
that it's all like out of my system, and I can just be like, like Dennis from you ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Yeah. How he's like, he has that meltdown. This is not a starter car. This is a finisher car. It's a transportation for the golden god.
You know what my deal is? If I do that though, if I'm going to work and I'm having that conversation, trying to get it all out with, and the person I'm having it with, imaginary conversation,
Is there
it's someone
waiting for
at
you?
work,
Yeah.
it's only going to make it worse when I get to work.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But if I leave work and
Yeah.
I leave that person there and have the conversation when they home,
You
then
don't
it's
carry
okay.
it with you.
But normally, if I just try not to have the imaginary conversation,
Yeah.
then I'm in a
Yeah.
better frame of mind. And honestly, the best thing I can do in the car when it's silent is just maybe pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that does help.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to, because I rarely think to do that. And then when I do think to do it, I'm like,
you don't want to.
Right after I listen to this segment on the radio.
Right.
Or,
Yeah. There's always 1,000.
Or right after this podcast
temptations
episode.
to pull you away.
Praying is like writing.
Yeah.
There's
It's
always
something
something
you should
trying
do.
to get. Yep.
But there's always something.
Yeah.
There's always something to pull you.
Yeah, you know how Pressfield says, like, when you sit down to write, when you make the decision that you're going to sit down and write, at that moment you kind of raise your flag and shows resistance where you are.
Yeah.
And it comes charging.
Oh yeah, you show up as a blip on the radar of the enemy.
Yeah, dude, in church this morning they read a verse out of Romans that basically said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, when you decide to do good, evil is lurking at the door.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It happened when I started writing the books, all of a sudden, man, like things started going bad in life. And I started having like really bad dreams.
Yeah.
And like it turned into a shitstorm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. This is how it goes.
The enemy isn't going to bother with you if you're a non-combatant.
Yeah.
Well
said. That was pithy and succinct. It's perfect.
You should put it on a t-shirt.
You should put it on. Oh yeah. Speaking of t-shirts, might as well. I mock this up here. Where is it? Right here. Here we go. Gosslings t-shirts. Boom. You can get these beauties. By the way, this is made out of a tri-blend. This is not just like straight cotton.
It's super comfortable.
This is like that really soft tri-blend material.
And we have very sensitive nipples. So we're bosses. We're German and Irish, so we're very sensitive about like what clothing we wear. I mean, not like Italians. We're not like Jersey Shore or anything.
Yes.
But these are precious cargo.
This is precious cargo.
We can't have them weighed down. We can't have them braided.
Yeah. They're form fitting. They're form fitting.
Delicate.
And they won't irritate your. We put the circle right here, so it doesn't get quite to the neck, So anyway, check out.
Go to Teespring. Check them out. Follow that link, copy and paste it. I'll post. I post all those, all the relevant links, like for Nick's books and Nick's YouTube channel, and for all of Adam Burrell's stuff and his wife Dee Burrell's resin stuff. And then our Teespring page where you can buy the t-shirts. I put all that in the description, usually the night of the live stream or the next day. But if you go back and you look at any of our previous live streams while you're watching this, you'll see all the links on there. Will made a good comment that like Subaru is actually, I had no idea. I genuinely will, like, this is so awesome that you mentioned this. They're making a new Brat for 2021.
I bet it doesn't have jump seats with
and you don't want it if it doesn't have jump seats. Like, that's the only reason you get that thing.
No, we're the wussy generation. Why would they do that? And a Subaru.
Right. That's what makes that thing so cool. Is it is iconically 80s.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's no hand holding, there's no nerfing. Yeah. You get some handlebars, and if you're real soft, you like buckle the lap belt. But it's like, dude, survival of the fittest. This is the 80s, baby.
Dude,
we're gonna go eat some Twinkies.
Yeah,
we're gonna get some high tops.
That's for real.
Some Pop Rocks, and we're gonna tool around in our Subaru Brat. Listening
because we couldn't afford a Trans Am.
Right, because we couldn't afford a Trans Am.
Because back then Subarus were cool. Now, Subarus are it's such a virtue signal.
Yeah.
Like if the new Subaru Brat now, I bet the only thing you can fit in the trunk is your
new cat scratching post.
It probably has a bike rack, enough room for a Yeti cooler, and a box of stolen ballots. That's about all you get back of a Subaru Brat 2021.
And a place to put your Sam's Club industrial size kitty litter. container.
I bet it's either electric or it's a Flintstone car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder how long it's going to be before the Flintstone car comes back. Yeah.
And there's going to be some guy out there like, it's called the Subaru Brat.
Yeah, it's a bra.
Yeah, because you're a weenie.
Yeah. Or you're a pear-shaped lady with a very short haircut.
Yeah.
And some Doc Martens.
Dude, those Subaru Brats come the same color as your hair dye.
Right, as your armpit.
Yeah.
Dyed armpit hair.
I wonder if they dye their armpit hair green and blue. I don't know. Anyway,
I've seen it.
Subaru Brat 2021.
Yeah,
Check it out.
2021.
They are not a sponsor, by the way.
No, this episode not sponsored by Subaru.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
We don't want them anyways. Whatever. We'll take Toyota.
Oh.
No. So okay. What else? There's so much to talk about with smartphones.
Yeah.
The smartphone pandemic. We covered a little bit of the physical stuff. We covered a little bit of the social, like the personal anxiety, the constant accessibility.
Well, the fact that they spy on you all the time.
Yeah, the privacy violation aspect.
Yeah, I learned something interesting. If you were to download an app, let's say you download Messenger.
Yeah.
And you want to send someone a voice message, or you want to FaceTime them or video chat. You download the app and you hit the little, like, say, video button. It'll say, can we use this? Do we have permission to access your camera?
Mm-hmm.
You have to access the camera.
Yeah.
The app has to access to be able to do it. They won't let you do anything unless it has access to the camera.
Yeah.
Or the microphone.
Or both.
And so you grant access to the camera.
Yeah.
All these apps do that, right? I mean, they want access to your microphone. They want access to your camera because that's part and parcel to what the app does. That's what it's there for, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Once you give them access to do it, it's on all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they have access only while you're using that particular feature of the app.
Yeah.
It means they have access to your microphone and your camera all the time, even when your phone's screen is turned off.
Yeah.
And the smartphones, the apps are collecting and sending data through all of its collection devices, microphone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's maybe like your Safari app is still running or whatever, or your camera is still on. But these apps are communicating with their companies.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 times a minute, 24/7, constantly streaming your information to them. And these companies have to either turn around and send that information to the government upon request, or they just do it as a part of their contract.
Part of the contract. Yep.
The fact of the matter is the government has hacked us all.
Yeah. Yep. Through your consent.
The government's used big tech to get around the Fourth Amendment.
Yep.
Along with the Patriot Act.
Yeah. I was just about to say the Patriot Act, granted them the ability to do all that.
And they can do that. Right now, they're probably listening to us.
Yeah. Yep. Probably even on these things, but this does mitigate your chances of it because you can't get any apps on this.
Right.
That's like the whole point of something like this.
Exactly.
I'll tell you though, man, like there is one thing that I've started doing is I just leave them at home. And like, it's so funny. Like if you've ever gone driving, or gone anywhere without your phone, I mean, it's like you're a dog off the leash.
Mm-hmm.
You're like off the reservation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dangerous and scary and like exciting.
What if there's an emergency and no one can find me?
Right. What if I get like broken down on the side of the road? Oh, you mean like people have been doing for the past 80 years where you walk to a gas station and you ask to call
like the
911?
pioneers who walked across the prairies and plains, dragging a wagon full of children and
your ancestors who were real men,
like actually like fighting off Indians just to get to a safe place to plant some corn.
We're so soft, like you're like smell blind to it. That's like society has made you smell blind to how just powder puff soft we all are.
And we look down our nose so much at people who live their lives very fully without the internet, without smartphones, without tech, even without cars.
Yeah.
Horses, that's what thousands of years people have been riding horses, and all of a sudden, it's cars now.
And now it's cars now, right?
You know?
Yeah, and we'll spit in the face of it by calling it horsepower.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
horses and sailboats. It was like a necessity for travel until a certain point, and then it becomes a luxury.
Right. Yeah, that's like the point where like Delta and I have this conversation a lot of times where we keep coming back to like honestly, maybe the Industrial Revolution was the worst thing that ever happened to humanity.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I can see
because
that. I can
this
see
is
that point.
like an outcropping, a tangential, exponential equation result of that very moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's like where exactly like you say, it stops being, a function and starts being a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
And once it softens you, like Frank Herbert's Dune is really good about articulating that. That's why I actually think Nick would really like that book, because they've outlawed AI, and they've outlawed, and like a big part of the book is like people self-actualizing.
Yeah.
Like Nick and I were talking about this earlier about like GPS. I sent Nick a funny meme about like how, it's like, whatever real men, like, we always try to like beat the GPS time.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you really do. Like we all do it.
Yeah.
But Nick like one upped me. He was like, yeah, whatever. Real men like don't even use GPS. You just know where you're going, you figure it out. You look at a map. But it's true because like technology, if you're not careful, you wind up like the Wall-E people.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just like a fat blob sitting in a recliner.
Yep.
Totally useless.
Yep.
You don't know how to do anything. And cell phones, they soak up so much of your time. Like I just hear Stephen Pressfield's voice in my head whenever I like just lay on my bed after work and I just zone out for like 20-30 minutes just playing like a little pirate ship game on the phone. It's a total time waster. It does it accomplishes nothing,
It's your decompressing and you're the whole thing, that it's resistance. That you should be writing.
I know I should be writing.
I know. I know.
And there is something to be said for like decompression. You do need to decompress. And honestly, like, okay, like I'll concede the notion that like maybe like a little app phone game or whatever, like is your method of decompression. Okay, whatever. Like, I certainly can't be one to judge on that, and maybe that is like what works. But you are like every time I pick up my smartphone, which only is tethered to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So it only goes through the Wi-Fi at like my house, your house, or work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only three that it's set up for.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I pick that thing up, I feel like I'm dancing with the devil.
Yeah.
And because it, like Nick says, it is always listening. It's always recording. It's always watching. Yeah. I mean, how many times have all of us had conversations about something, and then like an hour later you get an advertisement for it?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and not just you've searched for something and then you get an advertisement for it. They figured that technology out 15 years ago.
Yep.
This is like you're just talking.
Yep.
And something Instagram picks it up.
Google, Facebook, and Amazon share all that information.
Yep. Yeah.
That's why when you search on one platform, you'll see ads on another.
Yeah.
Based on that search.
And the powers that be are not your friends. They don't have your best interests at heart, and they don't want you to exist. They just want to take what you provide. And so you are at war with these machines because these machines are fifth columnists. They're traders behind the wire. Yeah. And it's even worse than that because your GPS and your phones, you don't even need to actually verbally communicate anything or search anything for like your phone to send you ads for stuff.
Yeah.
If you use your phone to look something up and then I come around you, then the GPS has connected that and then it creates a data point that can send info. Mm-hmm. That actually is the primary way they get advertisements to you. The verbalization stuff and the cameras and everything are actually like, they're like a distant second compared to that.
Wow.
Yeah. So like there's literally nothing you can do.
That's crazy.
Except for junk them.
Yep.
Just throw them away. And like, fair enough, man. Like if you look at like the Franklin Gun Shop YouTube channel, I did all of those videos, and I did them all using nothing but an iPhone and iMovie. Your stuff, you use iMovie for all your stuff, and you probably most of the time. Well, I mean, you have the Canon now, but you use your phone to record a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
And I mean, I get it, man. It's a real sacrifice throwing away your smartphone.
Yeah.
But honestly,
you know what? I believe I'm going to make
the biggest coup d'etat.
I'm going to make such
a
pretentious statement right now. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah? Good. Go for it.
Soft men can't live without their smartphone.
Yeah, it's true.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That's how you beat Antifa.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. Well, that's absolutely true. Like, take like Will and Adam, for example, right? Like, Will says that he takes his smartphone or his phone and he puts it in the other room when he writes. Why does Will do that? Because Will has a purpose in his life.
Yep.
It is a purpose-driven life, that is greater than himself. It is a mantle of personal responsibility that he's taken on for himself, whether it's God or the muse or whatever you want to call it. And it supersedes this instant gratification, time-wasting, just circle jerk of soul-sucking death.
Yeah.
Adam's the same way.
Yeah.
Adam, I mean, how many, like, God bless Adam, you got to sleep more, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
I know. He's a killer, man.
I know, Adam.
He grinds
I love
it
you,
out.
buddy. And, you were burning that candle at both ends. And, he's a tank, man. I mean, you want to talk about, like, a tank of a human.
Well, he makes time for his family, though. That's why he has to do it on both ends.
Right.
He's got a full-time job. He does some side work for himself before. He does some side work for himself after. But he has to make room for his family and all that,
And when, Adam is doing his, when
it's awesome.
Adam, when you're doing your audio narration, you're probably doing it into a computer. Now, maybe he uses a smartphone for it, but still, like, whatever you're using, Adam clearly, like Will, like us, has a purpose-driven life that is greater than himself, that is not just like scrolling through Instagram, or playing Angry Birds yet again, for nothing. Like, you get nothing out of that.
Yeah.
But instead, he's building something, even if it's the audio, just the audio narration. Or, or if it is something more important, like spending time with the wife and kids,
And if you're an employer out there,
see that.
And if you're
the heavy flamer, brother.
The emperor, Adam says, I'll make my statement in a second. Adam says, never the smartphone is switched off when I'm recording. Yep.
Yeah, he gets it, man. Yeah. So you're exactly right, Nick. Real men don't need their smartphones.
They don't need it.
If anything, a smartphone is a borderline necessary evil. That's like an angry little monkey that you have around the house that like barely serves a function. You want to get rid of it, but if you did,
but your kids love it,
right? But your kids love it. If you got rid of it, it would bum out the whole family.
Yeah.
So it ends up being like this albatross, that kind of hangs around your neck.
It's funny. Kids love smartphones, but they hate that their parents use smartphones. Kids love the screens, but they hate it when their parents are on the screens. And as parents, we all know this. And we've been starting this Monday night thing again where we do like family meeting.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And one thing and we did it for about maybe a year or two, several years ago. And we stopped doing it. Well, I'm starting it again. And the one thing my kids are so excited about it. The one thing they remember that they are so excited about this time is that when it starts, they get to hide my phone and my wife's phone in the living room. In the other room, they get to go and hide it somewhere, and we can't go and look for it until the meeting's over.
Oh, that's funny.
And they love that. They absolutely love it.
That's adorable. Yeah, that's good.
And then as soon as I find it, they're like, "Hey, Dad, can I watch this video?"
They're like planning it in places where you'll find it pretty easily, so that they have the most amount of time to be able to play their game.
I'm gonna be like, "Why don't you really hide this really well?"
Yeah.
Like, here's a shovel. Go out in the backyard and really hide it.
Yeah.
Show me what you got.
So here's a tough question. Actually, what was
sorry.
Adam
said here you go.
A smartphone is a tool, and like other tools, it gets put away when not being used. Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's a good segue into something that I was going to ask Nick. really the only reason primarily that I think Nick and I both have our smartphones still, even though we use them as like miniature iPads tethered to the Wi-Fi, really, at least for myself, but I think it might be the same for you, the only justification really ultimately seems to be for marketing the books, for taking pictures, for posting stuff on Instagram. That's the hook. That's the hook that's in our flesh on this thing. So my real question to you is, and possibly challenge, if it's at all possible, if we can ascertain, if we can navigate a path to victory here, how do you do that and ditch that thing forever?
Yeah, I know it is. Like everything that's on this smartphone that I use, for example, let's say the Instagram app. The only thing I can't do on a desktop, if I'm making a post for Instagram, is make a reel.
Oh, okay.
I can't make a reel on a
and
desktop.
That gets
you have
you,
to
like,
have a
the
smartphone.
Most
yeah, of course,
doesn't
it does. Absolutely,
See,
it does.
that's the drip.
If I were to take that, podcasts, I can't download and listen to podcasts unless I have a smartphone.
In your car. Yeah.
And let's see what else. Everything else, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
I can do everything I need to do from a laptop or a desktop, and probably better that I do it that way.
Yeah.
If I'm willing to sacrifice my access to creating reels, which when you think about it, I can make a video.
Yeah.
And I could create it in the right format and and post it. And the thing, and really, if I were to hang on to this smartphone just so I can make reels, in 4 or 5 months, Instagram's going to move on to something new.
It's going to have something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the real question. Here's an even deeper question, I should say.
This is like therapy. This is good. Thank you for this. I need this.
Yeah, good.
Challenge me on this.
And I'm in a worse position because like I use my phone to take pictures for like social media. So I would pretty much have to give up on social media to, at least for like my own creative stuff. Or I'd have to go find a camera, buy a camera and, kind of go through the same process with this. Because one thing I did last year was for $20, I bought a Garmin GPS, so I could find places. Now, the Taco has navigation, so I'm being tracked again. But with the Jeep, it's too old for that. So, you do have to work. You have to find these kind of ridiculous and laborious workarounds to not having a smartphone anymore. That may, in some ways, defeat the purpose. But it's almost like, could you go one deeper? And could you like just have it like a desk phone or a wall phone and just get rid of this?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. That's what my one-off's about.
Really?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Hey, you want to transition right into the one-offs then?
Yeah, let's do it. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well,
we call that a transition.
And let's talk about,
very bad one.
It was pretty rough, but we've had rougher.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
funny you mentioned that.
I'm about 75% for getting rid of this smart device.
Yeah.
And just going with the flip phone or getting a light phone.
The light phone.
The light phone too.
We were looking at the light phone last week. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like this technology, the smartphone technology. It's just calling and texting.
Yeah.
You can customize it so that you can download a podcast to it and take it with you. It doesn't stream. There's no internet connection.
Oh, that solves your problem.
It does. There are no apps. It doesn't display images. It doesn't take pictures. It doesn't do anything except call and text and play a music or podcast if you download it or load it into the light phone.
Now that there's that thing that shows like all the bullet points of what counts as a domestic terrorist nowadays, and it's like anybody who questions the jab narrative, anybody who doesn't want to get the jab, anybody who talks about the election being stolen, anybody who talks about the Constitution because it was, anybody who is a patriot, You know, I wonder like how long it's going to be before like anybody who has a light phone
Yeah,
it's like
really.
added to that bullet
Yeah.
list.
Well, the fact of the matter is, every bit of our communication, whether it's on the phone, it's being recorded.
It is. It's all
being
being
recorded.
recorded, and it's been that way since like at least the day the internet was invented. It's always been that way.
Everything you type into your keyboard, if your computer's connected to the internet,
Yeah,
it's all being recorded and tracked. Especially if you use Google Chrome, Google Docs, whatever. Microsoft, it's all being. They can find any of that information from the past. You think you've deleted it, you haven't deleted it.
You haven't
It is
deleted
there.
anything. That's why they built that data farm out in Utah back in like 2012.
Yeah.
Nothing you have ever done on the internet is hidden from the powers that be. Nothing you've ever said on a phone, at least going back 25 years, has been, at least ever since it's been digitized through it's either MCI or AT&T. I can't remember which one, but
There will never be.
And there's no workaround for that. There's no Tor that you can use. There's no, like, DARPA invented the internet. You think you or some little fruity little company is going to outsmart like these things? You're not outsmarting anything.
There will never be any telephonic communication as well.
Yeah.
There will never be, and never has been, something that can't be hacked, tracked, traced. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot have clandestine telephonic communication.
Yeah.
Period. It's impossible.
Yeah.
However, if we transition to written communication, there is absolutely a workaround for being tracked in what you write. And that is the typewriter. Not the electric typewriter.
Nope.
We're talking about the manual clicking and clacking.
Yeah. Well, because even on these things, and I mean, there was even like a Fringe episode about it, but like every number on here has a tone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if let's see, we'll jack this up.
Yeah, turn it on. Let's listen. Maybe put it on speaker and you can hear it.
Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, mine won't do it. Oh, this one actually won't do it unless you're right up on the earpiece. I don't think you can hear it.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. But every one of these, like when you flip this up and you dial it, every one of these has a tone.
Yeah.
And every single tone can be recorded. And every single tone can be deciphered by somebody else.
Yep.
And that technology's been around for at least like 20 years.
Oh, yeah, longer than that.
Probably predates cell phones, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it used to be, it's the same thing with a rotary phone.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I grew up with a rotary phone.
Yeah.
They're great.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, let's do our one-offs.
Yep.
This is really fun talking about this. It's not that I hate technology. I just hate...
You hate technology
I hate the insistence that it must advance and we must advance with it.
Right.
And it's being forced upon me. And that there are better days ahead technologically than what we had in the past. Not that what in the past was all that great compared to what we have now. It's just...
Yeah, but there's a balance.
Right.
At a certain point, technology no longer works for you. You now serve it.
Yeah. It is so convenient that all you have to do is sit back and relax, and it moves you about the world.
Yeah.
And then you realize that when you do want to move, you can't anymore. You can't move anymore because you're one of those Wally people.
Yeah. You're in your chair just sucking on your Slurpee.
Yep.
You know, and it's tempting. That's why it's so evil, is because it's like every single one of us is like, oh, that'd be so nice.
Yep.
Just lay back and just get fat and just, and just not do anything. So, yeah. Anyways.
Well, let's see who goes first. Here we go. Ready?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
All right, got me that time. Got me figured out.
I'm starting to pick up on the pattern.
You were probably watching the old episodes before you.
Hey, there's a lot of homework that goes into this. Yeah.
All right.
You want to? You go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, no problem. You're gonna like. You'll like this one. It's just one page. That was my first one. That's crap. I'm doing this side instead. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
There's an old man down in Georgia who doesn't own a phone. Not just a smartphone. He doesn't have a cell phone of any kind. Yeah. Most people wouldn't count the manual bell-ringing rotary device on his kitchen wall as a phone. But years and years ago, That was how telephones existed in our lives. They lived in our homes, in a single room, literally fastened permanently to the wall, and sometimes an end table. They were anything but mobile. We were masters of our phones back then. We were masters of ourselves. The old man down in Georgia runs his own business out of his home using only that old rotary phone. He is very accomplished at his work, highly sought after, and charges a pretty penny too. He's a nonconformist. He's a revolutionary, though really he just chose not to change with the times. Really, the world around him revolted, then demanded that he change as well. But the old man down in Georgia would not find those terms acceptable. He carved a brave, bold new path by simply staying on the same plain one. I've heard many a criticizer belittle him behind his back, but never have I heard criticism from one more successful than the old man from Georgia.
Yeah.
But when he's gone, who will carry on his simple yet effective ways? Now, I'm not mourning and crying for days gone by. I'm not yearning for times that I only read about in books. I'm actually looking forward into our future, my future. They say the future is what you make it. But what if I envision a future for myself that is not tethered to the digital beast?
Yeah.
Will I be allowed to have that future? Can I really choose for myself? Do I have control over the lifestyle I desire?
Yeah.
Or must I conform to the internet-dependent network of digital slavery to simply eat, sleep, and create? The old man from Georgia never conformed, and he's done quite well with his time. He seems happy with that antiquated device on his kitchen wall, while I, you, and the rest of the world only grow more and more depressed when we pick up our smartphones. My question to you and to all who are listening is why? That's it. That's my statement. That's basically what we've been talking about.
Oh, you need some more coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Feel a
You want that
little
grindy
bit
stuff at
in
the bottom.
there.
Give me that sludge.
Uh-huh. Give me some mud.
That's great. That's great.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
To Ray Thacker.
Ray Thacker, the old man from Georgia.
Ahead of his time by never catching up.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time by being behind the times.
Oh, man. Ray Thacker. Yeah. Yep. And he's everything that Nick says. Like, constantly in demand, you know.
Yep.
He has, like, maybe one assistant, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that assistant has, like, an email address. He doesn't even have an answering machine.
No answer. Oh, I should have put that in there. No answering machine. Yep.
Yeah.
Just a phone.
Yeah.
And he's not somebody who's been living under a rock. When people
No.
see flip phones, they're like, you must be.
Whose hair did he was a hairdresser too. Was it Barbara Streisand? It was somebody like that.
Yeah,
like
he did some. He's like
somebody's-
hairdresser, wedding planner,
Yeah, event
florist.
planner,
Yeah,
florist,
yeah.
decorator.
Yeah, he's
You know,
huge, big demand. Makes buku bucks doing
Yeah.
that.
makes more money than probably like all of us watching this combined.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
So yeah.
No.
Ray's awesome.
Looks like Adam's got to take off. Adam,
Oh,
glad
man.
you could join, man. Come back and watch the replay so you can hear Jonathan's one-off.
Yeah, you know what? Go for it, man. Absolutely. Get a couple hours of sleep. Get as much out of my love you, buddy. But I will tell you right now,
You don't sleep enough.
yeah, if you leaving this live stream means that you get more sleep, you will never have to apologize or make excuses for any of that because, like,
Yeah.
you are awesome. You and Dee both are killers, but, like, man, you guys don't sleep enough. If
Yeah.
I could somehow, like, carve out extra 3 hours worth of time
Yeah.
in the fabric of space-time reality
Mhm.
just to give them to get caught up, you know, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know Will
Love
had
you,
to
buddy.
step out too because he had to go to dinner. So, Adam, love you, bud. You're awesome. And yeah, get some sleep and hope you dream of wasting gene stealers in your Terminator armor.
Yeah, there you go.
as a Terminator Space Marine captain that I know Adam Burrell is. And
you know what I find interesting?
And Will will watch this on the back end. Will, I hope you're having a good dinner.
Yeah. It seems like I think that this whole message, the realization that we are trapped and shackled as human beings, and we can't self-actualize.
Yeah.
As much as we're wrapped up in someone else's technological agenda.
Yeah.
I think we all realize that, and we want to self-actualize. We want to be like fully human, and we can't because this is getting itself and getting in our way, and it dominates our lives.
Yeah.
I think people understand that. I think that resonates with a lot of people, but they feel so hopeless. Like, how do we change? It can't be changed. It'll never be different. I can't live without it. Like, how do we show them that?
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah. Think local. That's the insidious nature of the smartphone, is that it will connect you to someone on the other side of the world that you will build a pseudo facsimile relationship with.
It's not real.
And it's not it could be like real to an extent, but it's not going to matter ultimately.
No,
and it'll change like that.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
and you're going to sacrifice that time. You're going to sacrifice time getting to know your neighbor.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there talking to someone in, Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've experienced a thing where like you meet someone and face to face everything's nice and cordial and you like the person, and then you get online and you see them really open their mouth and express what they really believe, maybe even about you.
Yeah.
And you're like, why couldn't you say that? He didn't say it to my face, but now he's saying it online.
Yeah.
It's not real. One of those two relationships is fake.
Right.
And when you only have the online relationship with someone else and never met them in person, it's all fake.
It's all
BS.
fake.
It's all BS.
Well, and it just, it becomes inconsequential. It won't matter at the end of the day. Because if your house is on fire because there's a gas leak, that person isn't going to show up, with blankets and some bottled water.
Nope.
But who is the person across the street that you've never talked to, because you're too busy sharing memes with, someone and I mean, fair, like, we wouldn't have Adam, we wouldn't have Will, we wouldn't have this if it weren't for technology. But like, we're all old enough to remember when technology was not so invasive and it didn't exist in your pocket. And we still had this, we still you still had this. So, there is a line. There's a line in the sand, and it's going to have to be spilled in blood. It's
really scary to think that the kids right now were born into this.
Yeah. This is their normal.
This is their normal.
Yeah.
And what happens when the lights go out?
Yeah.
How are they going to, when they're adults,
function.
They've grown up on all of this technology, and then all of a sudden, if they're forced in a situation where none of that is accessible or works anymore, what are they going to do? How are they going to? How are they going to not? How are they going to live?
Yeah.
How are they going to find any purpose?
Well, because I think about a lot of times I'm tempted to bring a book with me whenever I, like when I went to CarMax and I got the car, and I knew I'd have to be waiting for a little while for something. It's like, I should bring a book with me. But here's the thing. I mean, a lot of people can do that. I'm not one of them, because I know that I'll be distracted because half the time I'm listening for my name being called. So whatever, I know this because I tried doing it last year at the doctor's office. Whatever I'm reading is just, you might as well just light it on fire. It's not being retained.
Yeah.
But what I found myself doing, like I know Nick has experienced over the past couple of years, is when you're not here, you're out here. And guess what? You'll probably make eye contact with somebody and you might have a conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's and I'm not a social person by nature. So dude, it's totally in my nature to be tempted to just retreat into whatever.
Being introverted.
Yeah. Just totally introvert my way through this public, experience. But it's also a confidence booster. We have lost our ability to communicate.
Oh, for sure.
because everybody texts. That's kind of why, like, it's kind of a bullying move on my part a little bit, but like, I just kind of like call people. Like, not just because it's kind of a pain to text.
Yeah,
and my smartphone isn't always around it's a pain to do longer texts, and my smartphone isn't always around to use like a social media app to like thumb my way or voice talk my way through something. So a lot of times, like, it's just faster for me to call somebody, and I know that like half the people I call, it bugs them.
Yeah.
That I'm calling them.
Right.
And like at first they always answer because they thought it was an emergency. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I got a flip phone. This is not an emergency. And it's not probably going to be. But there is sort of this like trying to like reshape at least your circle, how your circle thinks and treats this. Because like I actually heard a comedian about it on the way over here today, making jokes about how like people he'd call them. And I was laughing because it's like, dude, not only is this apropos, but it totally applies to my life. He'll call them. They'll cancel the call. They'll send it to voicemail, and then immediately send him a text saying, "Hey, dude, you called? Like, what's up?"
I've done that because I've actually been on the phone at work.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm talking to someone, and I get a call, and I'm like,
and then you're multitasking.
Yeah, which I shouldn't even,
Well, that's different though than like he was speaking more to like the avoidant nature. Of
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
the
for sure.
socially awkward, the socially malformed nature of people to just be like, "Oh, you called," And it becomes this laborious back and forth texting conversation. Where it's like, dude, we could have like handled all this in 20 seconds if you just answered my call.
Yep. For sure.
This is faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's something to remember, man. Like, you think you're good at multitasking, you're probably not.
Nobody is.
And nobody is, and you really shouldn't do it. And it's kind of a myth anyways. But we all are forced to do it at some point where you're on the phone and you're texting or you're writing an email or, we've all done it. We've all been there. But, if you could get to a point where like, you just like start talking to people on the phone, as opposed to just texting them, you'll find that will actually save you more time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
just way more efficient.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're a guy.
Yeah, if you're a guy.
If you're a guy.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Let's hear it.
Adele smiled, turned off the screen to her phone, and got into her SUV. She set the phone to vibrate and leaned back in her seat, closing her eyes. Another post-gym selfie, another social media post. She let the likes roll in. The little gimbal in the smartphone was about to get a workout of its own as the cavalcade of likes and hearts and affirmation comments would soon be pouring in. She preferred her phone set to vibrate whenever she posted something on Instagram. It had a certain Freudian satisfaction to it. She had married a lieutenant, but he was so busy with deployments and workups that they hardly ever had time to get dressed and go out anywhere. After her third child, she couldn't fit into some of her dresses anymore. The underwire of her support bra cut into her shoulder blades and stretched the buttons some on some of her expensive blouses. Years of breastfeeding had taken its toll. Hence, the gym. Her girlfriends had told her that she needed to practice more self-love, that a man who worked 70 hours a week and 3 children under the age of 10 could not give her the attention she so desperately craved and thought she deserved. But the black mirror pool of Narcissus that was her smartphone filled that gap nicely. She was a queen, after all, and deserved to be recognized as such. She was a well-rounded, attractive, self-actualized human, posting all manner of pictures and stories about her garden, her guns, her children, her workouts, and her favorite Bible verses. Maybe if her husband was around more, he could get on the action too. But that was his loss. At least, that's what the men in her DMs told her. They may be thirsty, but she was starved. A spoiled whore's heart.
Ooh. Ooh.
Here's what happens when you exist on Instagram or on social media, but especially Instagram, as a single man. You find yourself developing trust issues with women because you come to really, really not like a lot of them.
Sure, of course.
Because
that's because the women that you're meeting on Instagram are on Instagram to fill a very specific self-need.
Yes. Yeah. And
they want to be told they're pretty. That's it.
Right.
And then they want to be left alone. Then they do not want relationship.
Nope.
They don't want to connect and engage. And they just want people to, oh, you're so beautiful. And that's it. Give them a heart and move on. And then, build up that follower number.
Yeah. And that's why, I have a special, pure, and abiding hatred in my heart for women who do nothing but post all this stuff about their lives, all their little trips that they take, all the cool little things that they do with their kids.
That's because they use Instagram like Facebook.
Yeah.
They're not using the platform right.
And all of their cool little gardening photos and all of their little trips and all of their little outfits.
Because they want all their friends to like all that stuff.
But they never post pictures of their husband or them with their husband. And that's
a good point.
I hope you get killed for that. That is because you are such a whore.
It's misleading.
It is. It's intentionally misleading because it hurts your brand. You won't get as much attention or as many likes if all of a sudden
your husband's in the picture.
Yeah, if your husband's in the picture, or if you're shown wearing a ring, or if you post in the comments that you're married, because then if you're not shown honoring your husband, then maybe you don't have a husband.
It's because they spend all this time painting the picture. They want people to see
the image,
this beautiful, perfect life. I want you guys to like this perfect life, but they build that image sans male.
The one piece that's taken out of that is the husband, who probably honestly is working 70 hours a week to provide them for this while they live their fruity, easy little lifestyle.
Yeah, probably.
Their really fragile, little narcissistic lifestyle. And I despise those women. If you don't have pictures of your husband on your social media, whatever happens to you, you deserve.
Yeah.
You're an awful human being. You're a garbage, trash tier human being who you are. How does the Bible put it?
You measure something in likes and follows.
Yeah.
There's a deep part of you that has to have that.
Yeah. There's a deep emptiness. Insecurity. That massive insecurity coupled with an extreme sense of
and it means nothing. How many times have you clicked a heart on someone's post?
Yeah.
Even though you didn't like it. You just wanted to know, hey, I saw this.
Right.
And whatever, I'm supporting you.
Yeah. I caught myself doing that today on Instagram, because you try to, when you're using Instagram as a marketing tool, you try to reach out and get exposure with on other people's pages so that it draws people in, so they see your product that you have or whatever. And so I've always been in this habit of I'll like something if I see it, like something, whatever. But then at a certain point, you stop and you think, when have I ever seen something on Instagram that I liked and clicked on, who has liked it?
Yeah.
No one. Never. I've never done that. So why is anybody going to do that to me?
Yeah.
Why is anybody going to click on that little like thing, and be like, oh, author Jay Goss likes this, so I should go check out his page. I wonder what he writes. No one does that.
Yeah.
They might maybe do it if you leave an interesting comment. Maybe.
Yeah. But the only reason they do that is because they're trying to find a connection, or they're trying to connect the dots between what you like and everyone who follows you and what they do.
Yeah.
To see if they can get some of your followers to follow them too.
Yeah.
Instagram is just a game.
Yeah.
To rack up followers and likes.
Yeah. It's all a hungry hippos game.
Yeah, it is. It's hungry hippos for adults.
Yeah, for adults,
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I gotta have a talk with the marketing manager at some point.
Yeah.
Because I think this is
Is it moving the needle?
No.
Is it doing anything to sell books?
No. If it's not doing anything to sell books.
Is it helping you write books?
No. Yeah. Yeah. See? Yeah. I mean, honestly, if it's not, I will say, like, there is one potential live stream guest that came about from a comment on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's like
That's cool.
literally the only time something, truly positive.
Yeah.
Like Adam, Adam fulfilled the audition on ACX.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Adam through social media,
Yeah.
And
I met him through you.
Yeah, you met him through me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like Nate with the Taurus Necros, the special edition of Heavenly Realms, that's a rare exception, but even that took an inordinate amount of time to make happen, and like you can count on one hand in however many years that we've been doing social media where it's like it's really borne fruit.
Yeah, and there's no amount of time you've ever spent on social. I'll speak for myself. There's no amount of time I've ever spent on social media where I've been like, man, I'm glad I spent that time.
Right.
Where I felt like I was doing something valuable with my time or my life. Ever.
Yeah.
I've never gotten anything out of social media, with the exception of the typewriter porn on Instagram. Because I love looking at shiny things, shiny typewriters. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I love looking through them, but that doesn't take long.
Yeah.
To do that.
Well, that's why, it's a soul-sucking device.
It is absolutely soul-sucking.
Narcissus.
Yep.
It's so destructive and it's so terrible. And the sooner we can all unplug from them, the better. Getting to know your neighbor and honoring your spouse. That's why truly, like, if you're watching this and you're a woman and you don't have any pictures of your husband on your social media, you're a whore. You're a whore. And I despise you.
Yeah, it's like there's something inside.
Because what is it that you want?
Right there. Why are they afraid to put a picture of their husband on their social media?
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Why don't you? And why won't you honor it? Because chances are he's providing for you.
Well, in a lot of cases, it's because he's not there. He's working.
Yeah. Poor guy doesn't know.
Yeah. And so the only, so when she's doing all that, her husband's away at work, she doesn't have a husband to take pictures of in the middle of her activities.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. There are, at home, there are constantly, pictures being taken when the husband comes in the evening and in the mornings and stuff. It's like, people need to know that. Like, other men in the world that use social media need to understand that you're married.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying as a single guy, because it's happened multiple times to me over the past year or so.
Yeah.
Where, like, I just was like, wait, what do you mean you're married? Like, you've posted a bunch of sweaty gym photos. Yeah. And you're really hot, And like,
well, I got a huge problem with people posting gym photos, men or women alike.
Yeah. It is so ego stroking, and that's a very kind PG way of putting it. Yeah.
There is no reason for a man, unless he's selling like personal coaching.
Right, personal fitness. Yeah, if you're posting pictures of yourself.
If you're a dude and you're posting pictures of your muscles and your fitness on Instagram for no reason related to selling a service. Yeah. You've got major problems. Yeah. There is a deep hole in your psyche that you are trying to fill.
Yeah. And we all see it and we all think you're a tool. We all, like, everybody.
I will never like.
Yeah.
I will never in a million years like a photo of a dude who's more fit than me. Ever. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Why would I do that?
Dude, yeah. Oh, dude, your muscles.
Wow, cool. Yeah, cool squat.
Yeah, nice. Whoa.
Wow.
You lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
they
don't need my encouragement to do what they've already done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what do you want? Do they want me to tell them that they're pretty?
Right. What do you want out of it?
Or do they want other dudes to say, "Man, you look good"?
They might. Yeah. Yeah.
Or do they want women to say, "Oh, you look great"? Wait a minute.
Yeah. But wait, I thought you were married.
Yeah, I thought you were married, bro.
Yeah. Right. What is it that you're getting out of this?
You're signaling. You're putting something out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it out there and you got 0 likes,
and
0 follows, would you still do it?
Right. And that's the artist question. that's the writer's question in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Is truly like, if you were just howling, if you were screaming into the howling void, would you still scream?
Stephen Pressfield would.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
He did for 27 years.
Yeah, he did for
27
decades.
years. Yeah.
He did. Yeah, through pretty much. You know what? It really wasn't until, and he might, of course, correct me or disagree with me on this, but from what I saw watching him, he didn't really get any traction until he came out with The Virtues of War, which was like his 5th novel or something at that point. Legend of Bagger Vance, Gates of Fire, Tides of War, Last of the Amazons, and then Virtues of War. And The Virtues of War really had a centerpiece that focused on Alexander's campaign getting bogged down in Afghanistan. So there were a lot of military parallels to the current war in Afghanistan. It came out in like 2005, you know. So it really, from my perspective, it didn't happen until then, you know. But so yeah, he spent decades screaming into the void, you know. And you know, I've been there, you know. You've been blessed not to like really have that yet, but it probably will happen at some point. Yeah, and it probably has in some ways. There have probably been like some projects that you did that you thought were like, man, this will be awesome, and then it's just
absolutely,
like just
that's
stillborn.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, like if I know that from this point forward, anything I write, if I think that it might never get published, like let's say Amazon shuts me down. I'm gonna say my internet connection is taken from me. By a nefarious government. You know, would I still write?
What sci-fi movie is this?
Would I still buy typewriter ribbon and you know, reams of paper? Yes. I'd have to. It's my purpose. My purpose isn't to be a digital cog.
Right. Or even if you had to just write off your laptop and print it off, you know? I mean, dude, when I lived in the apartment, my second apartment, one of the biggest purchases I made was like a $400 printer from like Office Depot or whatever. And it was like a high output, just black and white printer. And it was purely just so I could print copies of the book.
I wish I could do this with a you know, I write on a Chromebook when I go to Starbucks. I can't. There's no way to write. There's no software on it. It only works if it's connected to the internet because it's a Chromebook. It doesn't have a hard drive, so you can't download like a word processing software. And if I were to, I do it in Google Docs. The problem is, if you're writing in Google Docs, you're connected to Google and the internet and everything else. So if I could, you know, if I could, have a writing device like this, a portable writing device like this, that had software that allowed me to write, and broke it in a way that didn't allow it to connect to the internet. Dude, I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy. It's basically a digital typewriter at that point.
I might know somebody who, I don't know. I'll ask him about that.
But I got to be able to.
Dang, I just saw him yesterday too.
Anyway, if you find any solutions to that,
reach out to Nick. Reach out to Nick on social media and make it ironic.
By the way, just so you know that I'm not a total hypocrite.
Or write him up.
90%, and by 90%, I mean about 90, because I have about 108 posts. On my Instagram profile. You know, 90 plus of them are pictures of typewriters with quotes from famous authors.
It's pretty cool.
Famous authors that, well, I said famous, so authors that are not me. It's like accomplished writers that have something. I'm trying to get people who have this wisdom of writers and authors and take that value and the things they have to say about writing and put it on a beautiful picture of a typewriter.
Analog typewriter wisdom.
And put it out there for somebody to be like, oh man, they're either going to like the picture because it's a typewriter, or they're going to like it because they got something of value, something deep from that quote. You know, and that's what I try to put out there, because that's the type of thing, because there's nothing out there like that.
You know what would be so funny is if like we just started using our social media to just try and convince people to get off of social media. That's all you did. Every single post was like, stop looking at your phone. Get off your phone. Go outside. Walk on the grass barefoot. what is your neighbor? Have you said hi to your neighbor today?
I
No?
scheduled this post 2 weeks ago on a desktop computer. Put your phone down and go outside and play with your kids.
Yeah. Go ask your kids how their day was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
Go for a walk with your wife.
I'm
You
tempted.
know?
Yeah.
I'm
There's
telling you,
nothing on here.
Coup
There's-
d'etat.
except reels. And I could care less.
Yeah.
There's nothing on this smartphone that I
Yeah.
can't do on my laptop or desktop, which I can't take with me, which means I have to sit down in one place at one time and
Right.
do it all, which I do every Saturday.
Yeah.
All my posts are
It
already
will
scheduled for the next
force
2
you
weeks.
to be disciplined. It'll force you to be regimented. It's
Well,
like
I'm
that-
happier because it's compartmentalized.
It's exactly. It's like LL Cool J said in Toys. I don't want my mashed potatoes intercepting my peas. I want everything segmented.
Yeah.
You know, I want everybody in their own spot. You know, and that really is the best way to live your life, because that phone, in its attempt to be all things to all people, it really does just mushroom over and create this mess,
Oh.
just this goop.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's time for.
Dun, 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 dun. Hold on, let me switch the camera, folks.
It's time for Potato Cam After Party.
Welcome to the Potato Cam After Party.
Now we can really talk. Hey.
Oh,
hey.
now it gets dirty. This is the
Yeah.
Potato Cam After Party where we're all about the real talk.
Yeah, real talk. Hey,
Oh,
hey, YouTube. Hey, Rumble.
Yeah, we should call it our Rumble segment.
Run. Yeah.
Only put this part
Rumble.
on Rumble.
Rumble only. Yeah, it's probably necessary.
That's how you know it's spicy.
Yeah, if you could just get rid of that thing entirely, get rid of your smartphone entirely,
Yeah.
and then segment your life, you know, like it would make your life so much healthier. The only thing that sucks about it is you're going against the grain. You're going against the societal grain, and it will stress you out too.
Yes, it is stressful living
Until
in our
you
world.
figure out how to
Yeah,
overcome it.
yeah, for sure. There's a part of me though that has always loved being countercultural.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? A
Yeah.
lot of people talk about being
Contrarian.
they like to be countercultural and go against the grain.
But it's
You
the
give up-
safe version.
Yeah, the safer give
It's
up.
the Luciferian version.
It's like minimalists.
Yeah.
Give up your smartphone and
Yeah.
try it.
Oh right.
And we'll see how tough you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, you think right. All you little social mediaites out there, like, you know, posting things about how like minimalist you are,
Yeah.
and how tough and cool and superior you are to
Mhm.
everybody who leads like a normal life.
Mhm.
Like Nick said in his Facebook post about it, which is really good. Let's take your smartphone and throw it in the trash, and let's see if you're still a minimalist then.
Yep.
Because are you gonna continue to do that without your precious affirmation,
Mhm.
without your little, like, you know, ego circle jerk?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, because when you take
You're
away
probably
everything
not,
that a
because
phone
you're a
is,
lying little weasel.
your phone is what? It's your phone, right?
Yeah.
It's texting. It's a camera. It's
Yeah.
a GPS. It's a shopping mall. It's a
Yeah.
movie theater.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's an arcade.
Yeah.
It's all of these. It's it's your mail.
Yeah.
It's your business in many cases,
Yeah.
and the list goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
All in one tiny little thing you can put in your pocket, so it's easy to look minimalist.
Yeah.
How many
Sure.
digital things do you have?
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing more like
I'm gonna get rid
trendy
of my
weathercock
possessions.
minimalist than a smartphone, because it's the Mary Poppins like carpet bag of of your life.
Mhm.
You know?
Be a minimalist. Here's a baby step
Yeah.
to proving to me that you truly believe all the things that you're saying. You minimalists out there.
Mhm.
I'm not asking you to give up your smartphones. I'm asking you to start by decluttering your social media.
Yeah.
Start by how many social media platforms do you need? Get rid of all your social media.
Yeah.
Keep your smartphone.
Mhm.
Get rid of social media and be a minimalist.
Yeah.
If
Stop.
you can be a minimalist without telling everyone about it,
Right.
would you still do it?
Without virtue signaling, without without jerking yourself off or fluffing your own feathers. I mean, what is that? What is it when you pray in private?
Pray in your closet.
Yeah, pray in your closet, and don't pray loudly, like whatever.
Like the scribes and Pharisees, where everyone can hear you.
Yes,
They have their reward. Their reward is all of the attention,
all of
the praise from people seeing them do it.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, your smartphone is ultimately just a device for that Luciferian spirit that lives inside of you that thinks you deserve to be God, and that you want all this attention because you're so pathetically insecure, and your inner life is so empty because you're a godless little weasel that like all of the people around you who like you eat dinner with every night, your children, your husband, your wife, your siblings, your parents, whatever, like who actually do love you and will be there for you.
Yeah, I want to talk with you.
Yeah, and people who will take you to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Or will give you a kidney. That's not enough for you. Because nothing's enough for you because you have a hole in your soul. And cell phones and every human is tempted to be like that, and cell phones just capitalize in every single way on that. Customize this, customize your search, customize your background, and do this story and share this thing and blah blah blah. And
the smartphone says you have a giant hole and we're going to fill it with a bunch of stuff. Attention, ads, entertainment. We're going to fill it with a bunch of stuff so you can be happy, but the smartphone really just makes the hole bigger.
Yeah, it does.
That's all it does.
Yeah, because it takes up more of your time and it demands more of you because it's a hydra. Everyone you cut off, another head grows. You open up a new app, you open up Telegram, or you open up Signal, or you open up Facebook Messenger, and every new conversation you start with somebody is just another vortex to go down, and it's just one more tether that's just hooked to, your soul. And really, it's like, this is kind of like us gaming this live. It's like, what do you really lose by giving up on that thing? You lose your distractions. You lose your GPS, but real men don't need
GPS.
I think it's my favorite thing to say in months.
I mean, I'm not saying you're a real man if you use it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying real men don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah, you can find the place.
A real man can figure it out.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Maybe ahead of time, maybe on your way.
Right. Yeah, who knows? And if you can't...
but a real man's on time as well.
Yeah. And maybe if you can't figure it out, maybe survival of the fittest. It's time to take that Darwin Award and just...
I don't know. I miss the days of
remember
knowing where I'm going before I jump in the car, knowing how to get somewhere before I get in the car.
Yeah, just being familiar with the place. That's one thing I do really appreciate about Cameron. Actually, is he drives around and he knows the roads better than I do in a lot of ways. Because I go to the same spots, I take the same way. I rarely ever even think to explore, And Cameron kind of figures that stuff out. But I remember growing up and driving. And up until 2013 or 2014, whenever I got a smartphone, I still have them on my notepads, directions, like a left arrow, Linbar Drive, exit 61, turn right, all that stuff. And Red Barn, second driveway,
It was funny about that. On our anniversary this past month, we went down to Pickwick Landing, and I've been there half a dozen times.
Yeah.
But we take country highways, and I still wrote down directions, physically wrote them down.
Yeah.
And I almost missed a turn. But we got there. I didn't need it. We could have figured it out.
Yeah.
Because once I got on the road, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. I remember all this stuff. Yeah. This is great.
And my wife had her phone the whole time. She's like, you can turn left up here.
Yeah. So stop spoiling it for me. Let me figure it out.
What are you mixing coffee and bourbon there?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. See, real men mix coffee and bourbon.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like to create a war in my belly, and let survival of the fittest. Let whoever's
You'll know,
strongest.
You'll
come
know
out
who
on
win.
top.
You'll
when
know
I'm
the
like
winner at 2 a.m.
or I'm like, oh. And either way, I piss the bed. So who cares? It's
great.
the same either way.
Oh man,
Yeah,
dude. Well, I don't know if there's anything. Oh, you want to do weekend review?
We probably should do weekend review. Yeah.
Since we're in the after party now. This past week, it was just finished. You know what's crazy? When I finished reviewing Adam's narration,
Yeah,
he sent me the corrections. I reviewed them and submitted it. In less than a week, it was live.
Oh wow.
Less than a week, it was live on ACX.
Wow.
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
Yeah, mine went pretty fast too for Wayfarers.
Yeah.
It used to take like a month. And like Wayfarers didn't take nearly that long. It took like 2 weeks. So yeah, they've been a lot better.
Yeah.
I would, I would recommend. It's worth thinking about using Adam as like a secondary narrator or editor, secondary editor.
Yeah.
He was great, man. He caught a lot of turds, and I almost stepped in.
Yeah.
With the manuscript, and it was pretty good. So, and like most things, like you give him more time on the plate, Adam gets better at it too.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've seen improvements. Empyrean Falling is good, but you listen to like Wayfarers, I mean, you could tell like when he's into it, and like he's had more time to like really hone what it is in that world.
Mm-hmm.
It's the difference between like the first Star Wars movie and Return of the Jedi. It's like the first Star Wars movie is really good, but like by the time Return of the Jedi rolls around, they're like masters at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. So, that's good though. That's good. Now you still have one more that you're gonna do.
Yeah, there's gonna be one more in the series, one final one.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then I can.
That's funny. He said that
close.
2 books ago.
It's true. I did. Book 5 was gonna be the last one. Then I did like 3 prequels. And I'm like, okay, because this last prequel, I basically set up to where I have to do one more.
I know the feeling.
Farther in the future.
That's all right.
So.
No worries. That's how it goes, man. You got to be malleable as a writer.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, you want to have the discipline to stay the course, but you have to have the humility to know when the course needs to change. And a lot of times it's true. Like no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Yeah.
It's all, the pieces change here and there. So so that's good.
Cool.
That's awesome.
What about you? What have you been doing?
I've been trying to wrap up like the first act of Sasquatch Lips, which has been going well. I've like cranked out probably 10 or 15 pages of the past week. It's one long chapter that actually just today got broken up into 2.
Okay.
But it sort of rounds out the first act of the story. And I actually want to get to that, and then I want to switch gears. And this next week, I want to focus on working on Primus Illuminati, the 6th book in the Heavenly Realm series. I got to do that for Adam so that he, so that he's still fresh, so that he doesn't have to try and go back and remember how he, who does what or who sounds like what. Because that sucks, man. Like sometimes you can tell when, it's like, you don't want to have, and for me too, as a writer for the whole enterprise, you don't want to have an Indiana Jones 4.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want it to like wait so long that when you go back to it, you're like, oh, I should have done this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to Adam about like maybe making some adjustments. There's some stuff that I have to change, not for him on his end, but on my end as a writer. Because there's been some new material that has come along since then that will impact the story of these last 2 books. So these last 2 books kind of need to be expanded in a couple spots, as far as their story goes and certain plot elements. But I got to figure out how to do that. It might change it structurally.
Mm-hmm.
So like the intro, it used to be, Wayfarers was the last book to be written, but it's the 5th book in the series. So, but Primus Illuminati was written like kind of you were meant to read in the timeline. It's the next one because it comes 12 years after Grey Aegis, which is like the second book in the series, even though it's totally all out of chronological order.
Right.
You know, Grey Aegis takes place in present day. Primus Illuminati kind of picks up where Grey Aegis left off, but 12 years in the future. So it's almost like you want to read Grey Aegis or reread Grey Aegis before you read Primus Illuminati. You can't expect anybody to actually do that. But when you read the intro to Primus Illuminati, it starts off in a way to where it harkens back to Grey Aegis to the end. But now there are like two or three other books that have come out in between those that like it just kind of doesn't have the same impact. It's a little risky to keep it the same way, but I don't know. I might have to talk to Adam and just see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Adam's a good sounding board for that because he's interested in the material. He gets it. He reads it, not just as a fan, but like as someone who's on the team.
Yeah.
And especially with his editorial work, Adam's a good resource for that. So
cool.
He's been great. So,
cool.
But yeah, I don't know, there's something came in on the chat.
We got something on the chat in the potato party. Who is it? Benji Gentry. Hey man.
All right, what's up, man?
Well, yeah. I ditched the smartphones. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See?
I'm really. I think I'm gonna do it.
I know. Me too.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I might get that light phone too.
Yeah.
Just so I can have the option to pre-download podcast episodes, so I have commute fodder.
Yeah.
Essentially. And if not, I'll just drive in silence.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Adam and Will were talking about it. It's the truth, man. Silence is golden, baby.
Absolutely. Or listen to the radio and just turn it off when there's ads. I just can't do commercials.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Yeah. It's funny. I find myself like in the first week I was driving the taco, I had a radio again, a functioning radio.
Yep.
So like I would bounce back and forth between radio stations whenever the commercials would come on, but like they're all running commercials at the same time. So like there's just like 5 to 15 minutes. It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just the
and
amount
I
of...
always get in my car during that 15-minute period. Always. And I usually, unless I'm commuting to work and back, normally when I get in the car to do something, run an errand, I'm usually home before the show starts back. It's just all commercials like during the whole time. And it happened to me last week. I was so frustrated.
Yeah. You just feel the poison just seeping into your brain. Just whittling it down. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Well, we are 2.5 hours into this. This has been a long one.
Yeah,
one of the longest ones we've done. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot to say about the evils of smartphones. Ditch your smartphones, everybody. Get rid of them.
Next week's going to be great because we have Richard Polt, who was one of the guest speakers on the documentary California Typewriter.
Yeah.
This guy is a typewriter aficionado. He wrote the Typewriter Manifesto, typewriterevolution.com.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great conversation. We'll have our typewriter set up here and we can.
Yeah.
And a lot of the same things that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Like the self-reliance versus reliance on digital platforms, digital technology, the distractions, and the resurgence of people wanting to get back to something simpler and something that allows them to be more creative.
Yeah.
A lot of the conversation I'm sure will revolve around. And I just got confirmation from him today that he's good to go.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good to go for the live stream. So
yeah.
it'll be fun. We'll have to wear headphones, of course.
Yeah. It's worth it. Yeah. Well, yeah. So tune in next week.
Yeah.
Next Sunday, 4:30 Central Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. And Richard will be joining us. And man, we're going to talk about typewriters. And if you haven't, in the meantime, watch California Typewriter.
California Typewriter.
Yeah, the documentary.
Absolutely.
We watched it on Amazon Prime Video. Is that right?
Yeah, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. I think for free.
I watched it for free.
Did you?
Wherever I watched it, it was free.
Okay. So, and it's got Tom Hanks, John Mayer, David McCullough.
Yeah.
It's got some big names, big people who use typewriters and are really kind of advocates for simplifying the creative process.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So tune in next week. We'll talk more about this kind of thing, but more typewriter specific. And we'll have a guest, so it'll be
awesome. Yeah,
we're looking
for
forward
sure.
to it.
All right, man, you ready to go?
Yep, I'm ready. I'm Jonathan.
Nick.
We are the Gosslings, and everybody have a great week. And